an automatic update,
Yeah.
and now when you're driving, it will actually, like when I go to respond to a text, before I respond to a text, it gives me two different options that are like pre-written, but it's me. It's fucking me. And it's crazy because it's literally one
So
of
you-
them is always almost exactly what I'm gonna say. And I fucking hate it because I'm like,
it's
am I that predictable? I'm like, I've only had this for a week and you already know what I'm gonna say. Like, I mean, it will literally be like, it will know. It will be like, option one, shut the bleep up. Option two, okay, comma, but what are we gonna do about it? And I'm like, why? Like, how do you fucking
I
AI
don't like
garbage?
this.
Did you get a robot?
N-
Kind
No.
of.
So, my car has Android Auto and it had a new update, Mike. And I don't know if you have Android Auto, but now
I don't.
with
Wow,
a
this
new
is not any better.
update, oh, now you're black. Darkness.
I might just leave it like this.
You're just a silhouette. So now Android Auto, if I get a text message and it asks me if I want to reply, before I like type something in or say something, it gives me between like two and three options of what it thinks I might say. And I've only had this update for a fucking week and it already knows what I'm gonna say. And like
Oh,
I
because
don't pick and I haven't picked one yet because it pisses me off so bad that I will like rewrite it with like one tiny thing different just because I'm not going to let the AI win, even though it would be really convenient to just let it do it. I'm just mad that it already knows me that well.
Don't let it win.
I'm not going to. I'm not. I'm going to
I
make it keep like
yeah,
learning more and more.
yeah. I do my best to not buy cars that have computers in them.
it's
Yeah.
tough now.
It's super tough. I'm like, all right, like basically it's like 2013 and before.
Mhm.
Everything else has some sort of weird fucking computer shit to it. I'm like, dude, that sucks.
I just have a problem that we haven't gotten to a point where we've gotten past Bluetooth because Bluetooth is terrible. And I feel like
Yeah.
we've been in the
Yeah.
Bluetooth world since the 90s with everybody wearing their
Yeah.
Bluetooths in their ear and everything. And I don't know, my car, the Bluetooth drops in and out all the time. It's really annoying. And there must be better technology than Bluetooth by now.
Well, there is. It's just not for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They they just want the power to shut our cars off and or make them speed up and crash
Right.
into things or whatever.
Oh my, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, yeah. Better not talk
Crazy.
about it.
Oh my God. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
This
not
world is
crazy.
insane. No, it
Definitely.
is. It's getting crazier. Like exponentially. Seems like every month.
Right.
Fuck.
I mean, we're at a point right now where the technology is going to keep moving real, real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, especially since we have AI technology that is literally learning more every second
It's
and will
Right.
fucking
soon just be
terrifying.
creating more technology for us because we won't have to create new technology because we already have AI technology creating the new technology.
Dude, I fucking heard an AI song the other day. It's been in my head for fucking a week and it's fucking taken over my life.
Of
And I'm like,
course.
I should just give up playing music because it's so good. I was like, man, I wish I'm never gonna write anything this good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
One
I
of
feel terrible because this is really catchy.
one of the girls from the Drugettes has been doing like 70s punk songs, but whatever thing she's using makes music videos for them too. And it's
Hmm.
fucking crazy. She'll
Hmm.
just type
Yeah.
in a few keywords and bands and it just makes a song and a music video and a fake album name for that song to be on.
It's awesome.
And
It's fucking terrifying.
it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I was in a cyber truck last weekend.
Oh,
Ugh.
did it stop? I mean, it did. You're here now.
Yeah, I'm here. It was fine. It's actually not. It's pretty comfortable inside,
Hmm.
and it's pretty like I don't know. It's a Tesla, so it's like
Is it
cool, I
like a
guess.
truck?
Yeah, I mean it has like a bed and everything, but it just
Oh,
reminds you of like an 80s fucking road warrior truck, like
yeah.
post-apocalyptic fucking.
Well,
truck.
that's what I thought about it. I was trying to figure why does it look like? Why does it need to look like?
Yeah.
It's just-
But I mean, that's what I'm like,
yeah.
oh, and it's probably why it doesn't. I mean, it's not a good looking truck, but it doesn't bug me just
Mhm.
because that's the fucking trucks like every 8-year-old in 1987 drew. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it was cool. It does this weird thing. Like you hit a button on your phone and like the hood pops open, the lights flash, music plays on the outside. It's like Close Encounters.
It's like turning on a computer,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been in a Tesla once for when I got into like an Uber, and
Yeah.
I was just freaked out by no handles, and when you're inside, there's no handles. I just felt like I was like trapped,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
Yeah.
scary because it's like,
and it's
hey,
so quiet.
everything controlled
Very
by my
quiet.
phone.
Yeah, the one cool feature was that the
The
roof
roof.
was
Yeah.
completely open.
Yeah.
And I
That's
was
my
like, this
favorite
is
part.
cool. The driver who owned the car was not stoked on it. He's like, it's
I
really
was gonna
fucking hot
say.
in here.
Yeah.
Well,
I
so yeah,
bet.
my sister-in-law rented one when we were in Arizona for a family reunion, and because she got on like Turo for like $13 a day, because all these people have them and don't fucking want them out there because they get so hot because of
Yeah.
that fucking feature. But it was cool. I drove it around a little bit and took it for a spin, but like I don't know, I still just don't trust
No, it's a
cars
computer.
that are
Yeah.
that futuristic. Yeah, like my boss has a Rivian, so a lot of the I use that truck a lot and
Hmm.
like,
Oh
well,
wow.
I actually try to use it not a lot because it fucking scares me. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it will just
That's
lock you
the
out.
that's
Hmm.
like the electric car that's like high end, like super high end electric car, like from Jersey. They only have like one dealership or something like that.
It's a truck. They just came out with an SUV, but yeah, it's like a higher end.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's cool. I mean, it feels like a roller coaster because you can go 0 to 70 in a second.
Yeah.
And that part is cool as shit. But other than that, every other part of it is scary. And those fucking cars, the second you move your foot like kind
Oh
of
yeah.
off the gas, it just
Yeah.
fucking
Slow.
stops.
Yeah.
Like it stops. It doesn't slow down. It just fucking stops,
That's so
which is a
scary.
Yeah.
little bit of a learning curve because you're like, yeah, it's weird. Like it adjusts to your foot pressure.
Yeah.
They're fucking,
Yeah.
it's weird.
They're
I'm all
weird.
for like electric motorcycles. I think that's fine. We could make cool electric motorcycles. The car is where
Actually
it's kind
could.
of like interesting.
Yeah, it definitely gives you
Yeah, I don't
that
know about it.
like this could end up being my coffin type feel.
I'm
If
all
my
for like
if
the ending
shit,
of oil and gas
yeah,
though. Like that's fine. It's just like I don't know if we're really there yet. If
no.
the car is there
I
yet.
mean, there's cool, weird features, but they're too smart. Like that
Yeah.
Rivian, it will feel if you have a dog in the car by like
Mhm.
their paw pressure. And when you turn it off, it will say like, do I need to go in pet mode? And you can say yes. And then it like the screen comes up and it's this like little happy dog and cat thing. And it keeps it to a perfect temperature for
Yeah.
your pet. And it says like, like don't break windows animal in here, but it fucking knows, dude. Cause
Yeah.
I had my chihuahua in there. And when I went to turn it off, it was like, should I enter pet mode? And I'm like,
Shut
the
up.
fuck is pet mode? So I had to Google it to see like what it meant. And it was like, yeah, pick a temperature and it keeps it there for your pet,
I mean, you know what?
which is
You hear
cool.
that? You hear that dog? We're getting a new car.
Yeah.
Because that sounds
That
cool.
was that was the one thing
Yeah.
about it. I was like, well, this is awesome because it sucks if it's a hot day and you got to run in somewhere and then you
Yeah.
got
Psychos with the banging on your
people
window.
Yeah.
ready to bring on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had someone do that. It was like 60 degrees and I parked in the shade. And of course, Ernie was shaking and barking because he's a chihuahua and he gets
Right.
pissed off at every person coming near him. And this fucking lady was like in the window, like, don't worry, I'm going to find your mom or break the window. And I came out and she was like, this dog is burning alive in the car. And I'm like, I can assure you he's not burning alive in the car. And she's like, look at him. He's trembling and like frothing at the mouth. And I'm like, because he doesn't fucking like strangers. And you're
Yeah.
up in his face in the window talking to him. So I like got him out of the car and was like, go ahead and touch like inside the passenger seat. And she's like, well, this doesn't feel very hot. And I'm like, yeah, so mind your fucking business. Like, fuck. I'm a dog
Fuck
lover.
off,
We're
lady.
not. She was like, if it's 60 degrees outside, it's really
Ah,
110 in your car.
I
I'm
know,
like,
I
Shut
know.
up.
She's giving you the science.
Yeah.
and I'm like, right. So the windows are partially rolled down and it's in the shade. So I can assure you
Get
it's not
fucked,
110
lady.
degrees in the fucking car.
No.
Yeah, it was great. But
Have you
anyway,
ever
so that
seen one of these
that's a
fucking
cool
cars before,
feature.
lady?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, technology,
Oh
there.
no, oh no, she didn't do it at the Rivian. It was
Oh,
my
okay.
car. It was my regular car, and I parked in the shade, and it was 60 degrees out with like a nice breeze, and I'm like, and I had I have a sunroof thing that was open. I'm like, this
Hmm.
Chihuahua is not. You realize that they hail from Mexico, right, lady?
Yeah.
Like the dog's good. He just doesn't like you.
They're
That's the
used to
problem
coming
here.
over here in fucking box trucks with the door closed in 300-degree weather, lady. Chill out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
People are
It
crazy.
was,
Technology is crazy. Ugh.
Uh, there's a good
yeah.
AI segue into our movie,
Yeah. All right.
but it's way too soon.
Yeah. Well, let's get started then. What's up, you corny little fucks? And by corny, I mean candy corns because that's how we rate things here at Monster Candy Podcast. So, welcome back to another episode with Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb,
Hello.
Mad Mike Terry from the
Yo,
Jukebox Romantics, and myself, Screaming E from the Memphis Murdermen. And tonight, we're going to talk about Late Night with the Fucking Devil. There's no fucking in it, but well, there is kind of.
Hmm.
Or devil,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. But yeah. Anyway, the Grindhousey
maybe.
Pulp 2023 possession film from Colin and Cameron Cairns or Carne, whatever. Yeah. So before we get into talking about this movie, it's time to talk a little bit about some
horror news. Bippity beep 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 burr.
yeah, horror news,
We got some
guys.
horror news.
There's a bunch of shit going on. I'm not going to start, but I do want to just get this out of the way first. It's not a chapped ass anything.
Come on, get my cream for E.
Yeah, no. I wanted
Let
to
me
make
get
a
your cream, E.
I wanted to make a correction because I overspoke and spoke incorrectly that The Howling
Oh.
was my honorable mention in our top werewolf movies. My third was Silver Bullet. The Howling was the honorable mention. So
Oh,
just wanted to clear that up because Silver Bullet just doesn't get enough credit. So anyway, the floor is whoever's. Who wants to go first with horror news?
oops. Would you like to go
I don't
first?
care.
Go first. I feel like I
Um,
go first too much.
sure. So Nicolas Cage is doing a remake. You
Yeah.
guys hear about this?
Hmm.
Um, possibly. Lay it on
Or
us.
sorry, not a remake. Sorry, not a remake. He's doing a sequel. I misspoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And of all the movies he's done, the movie that he will be doing a sequel of and will be bringing back John Travolta for is Face Off 2.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm
When did this get
serious.
announced?
Today.
Wow,
I
this
mean,
is real news.
good for John
It's
Travolta.
real. It's
I,
real.
I
Yeah, he's
as
been
soon
doing
as we're
some
done,
weird stuff.
Yeah.
I I gotta
John
text like
Travolta has
400
not
people.
had the resurgence of Nicolas Cage yet, so maybe this will spring him into that sort of
Dude,
realm.
I wonder.
It's gonna be so bad.
I don't know. I don't know if John Travolta is into horror movies, but
The Fanatic movie he did
Oh,
seemed like
well,
so
he
yeah.
good.
Well,
So good.
I mean talking about him because he
that
is
movie
like
irked
the
me. Oof.
godfather of my friend's kid. I don't know if she's related to him or he's just a family friend,
Uh-huh.
but she says he's super fucking rad. And I'm like, man, it'd
What,
be
Nick
awesome.
John Travolta?
Yeah. It'd be awesome to talk to John Travolta just in general. So,
Dude, this movie, before Oops drops the details on what's announced or not announced, this really could be the resurgence for him because you know that mainstream TV, like the fucking Drew Barrymore show or all these bullshit
oh,
morning shows, are gonna want
Mm.
Nick Cage and John Travolta on together to talk about like it's been 20 something years since you guys made this movie the first time, and
yeah.
yada yada yada. And like this could be a great way, PR wise, to get John Travolta back into the good graces, and Nick Cage will be his weird self on regular TV. So it'll be a good,
Yeah.
at least a good
That
promo.
would be cool. All I know is that If it's some stupid bullshit where they have kids and the kids switch faces like Hollywood's been doing lately for sequels, I'm gonna get real pissed.
Yeah.
Real pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely needs to be Cage and
Like,
Travolta.
I'm fine if it's bad. I'm fine if it's good. I'm fine if it's cheesy. I'm fine if it's serious. But if they do something, get mad, gonna
Yeah.
get pissed. You heard it today. So you just know when that fucking teaser comes out and that first trailer, you see some kids or sons swapping faces or daughters of theirs, just run because I'm burning it all to the ground. I will
I
die on that hill.
I support that decision.
Cool.
Burn it down.
I'm glad that we all
Yeah, because I mean, who wants to
good.
see
Glad that we all agree. Um,
that movie instead of Travolta and Cage being Travolta and Cage?
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad, it's gonna be great.
look,
Well, I
look,
mean, yeah,
some movies that can work.
not with them in it though.
The new Top Gun, bringing in the new generation, worked.
Okay, but
This
wait.
movie, don't fucking do it. Just don't do it.
I think the face. Oh wait, so are they?
Yes,
Not, it's not announced if they're in it yet, or they it is. They're announced. They're both in it. Face Off too.
they are both in it. It's confirmed.
Okay,
Yes.
so so are they going to remove their faces once again? They have to, right? Like
I
it's.
hope so. Of course. It's called Face Off. Yeah.
I,
Or, may,
uh,
or maybe they team up
and they
and remove other
someone's
people's
kids,
faces.
some other yeah.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
It's
As
like I
long as
just want the
their
doctor.
faces.
Just can you imagine the doctor being like, "We can only do this so many times before we can't put your faces back on."
I
Uh,
mean, now I just wonder if there's going to be a sequel to Con Air.
I don't
Because that's
know.
like,
Ooh.
But didn't
that was the
we?
one I thought it was going to be with all the clickbait. And then I went through it all and found that it was Face Off.
Well, didn't you text me with uh another Ghost Rider? Weren't we talking about that?
He's been talking. I don't know if that's confirmed for sure,
Right.
but I know that he's been in talks to bring back Ghost Rider. But now he's also like pitching some Batman villains and like other shit that he wants to. It's so funny because he does this fucking interview is like, yeah, I've got like four movies in
Right.
me left at most. Okay, and now we're already up to like nine since then. So what the
Exactly.
fuck? You, you're not even close to being done. You're at
No.
peak Cage ego right now. You're like, I
I
fucking played Dracula. I could play anybody.
Dude, he hasn't been this popular since like Raising Arizona.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what the fuck is he gonna do
Yeah.
if he's not acting?
No.
Play with his crow.
I guess so, but he doesn't have any money.
I know. I think he's been officially out of debt now for like 4 or 5 years.
But does he have enough money to stop doing anything? I mean, probably, but
I mean,
if he
I
lives
don't know.
modestly, does he look like a guy who lives modestly?
No,
he's
no,
a
We
he's
know
Cop
he
like
doesn't.
purple velvet and crow kind of guy.
yeah, he's a
Yeah, yeah.
Coppola.
Mm,
There's money in that family.
That's
So
true.
he ain't running out of it anytime
That's
soon.
true.
There's always money in the
Yeah,
banana stands.
and even if they didn't want to give him money, I'm sure he knows some secrets.
Oh yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
who
yeah,
would,
yeah, for sure.
because
No
that
Diddy.
family is like old money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God,
Um.
there's so much horror news.
So yeah, I don't have much more. The only other one that I really want to talk about because I'm gonna save some of the other stuff till I know a little bit more. Is more of like a chap my ass sort of
Yeah.
thing.
What chaps oubliettes ass.
There was this movie
AI
called,
cars.
yeah, there was this movie called Speak No Evil.
Dude,
Oh,
all right.
Speak
I
No
just
Evil.
saw the
I watched it.
trailer.
I know you watched it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's no, that's the remake. So the original, we talked about it on one of the
Uh-huh.
episodes, right?
We
I
did
don't
it.
think we did it, but we definitely
Oh
talked about
no.
it. Oh, we
No, we
did it.
didn't.
Okay, cool.
We did, but then never released it
We
because I
did like a
just
pre-episode.
no,
Oh,
that was the one that we didn't release because I was just
there's a,
like blah 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 like every fucking second of the movie we talked about, and I was like, dude, that was just the worst thing ever. Nobody would want to listen to that. So we just never did it.
oh, we should release it as like
God,
a non episode episode.
if you would
Well,
have
what you
paid to
guys
hear.
missed was us like ripping this movie to shreds.
Yeah.
Um, and me kind of liking parts of it. But anyways, there was only one good part of it, and that one violent part, and it involved a rock and somebody's fucking head exploding. So I just, sorry if you're gonna see the new one, people, but I just read all about how the new one, because that wouldn't be like acceptable and for a mainstream movie, and because the people who are in it, they're really trying to like get this out there, they're gonna apparently edit it down because the original was too violent and action packed.
What? That's
Like
Which
the
it was
ridiculous.
like the
original, or like the remake's first cut is too violent and gory.
No, like the remake they toned it, the American remake they toned it down because they're trying to get a broader audience. And the
Okay,
original is like a
maybe this
foreign
is just
independent gore fest.
Yeah.
maybe it's just me, but I just saw the trailer for the remake, and it looks way more action packed than the first original movie was. Um, Now that could just be
Well, I hope
fancy
so.
editing, but yeah, it looked way more like. And I saw Speak No Evil, and it had the one good part in it, but beyond that, it was whatever. And it created a nice atmosphere, but there was nothing going on.
No.
But in the trailer, I was like, for the new one, the remake or the American version or whatever you want to call it, it looked like it was action packed. So I was like, oh, this looks way more intense than the other one.
Right.
But I don't think
Hmm.
it's going to be any good, at
No.
least from looking at it.
I mean, you can only go up from the original. So there's
I mean, it
that.
is the
But
director who did Eden Lake, which was pretty good.
right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You know what's scary about this?
What's that?
This piece of news that Oobs has brought us is exactly the same news that I have, but for a different movie.
That's funny. Dude,
It's the same thing.
what about this movie though, dude? You'd be surprised at how many people were like, "Oh my God, that movie was fucking awesome." I'm like, no, you're lying to yourself. You guys are lying. It wasn't awesome. It was, if by awesome you mean annoying for like an hour and 30 minutes until the end, then yes, it was completely awesome in that respect. But as
It was the most passive
oh,
aggressive dialogue I have ever heard in a movie.
the worst.
And I understand that people are culturally different depending on where they're from, but I find it hard to believe in any culture somebody would have put up with the amount of that and not just like blown up. Like it is so passive aggressive. It's like that fucking person you don't want to be friends with, but they have the same friends as you, so your friends keep trying to sell you on them,
Yeah.
and you're just like, "What? No, this
Yeah.
person's awful." Like that is the couple in that movie. It was just so.
It was awful.
And then
I,
yeah,
I,
and
I,
the lack of parental instinct at the end was
Yeah.
baffling.
Yeah.
Like if it
I,
was not my kid, I would have done more. And if
Right.
it was my kid, surely I would have done more.
and it's so fucking funny that you say that, because as I watch that movie and as we talk about the Speak No Evil remake right now, I just remember me as a newer father when that movie came out. It's not even that long ago that when I saw it, which is just crazy that it's being remade already.
Right.
But anyway, um, thinking like, no, this is not how anybody would react. Like nobody would let this happen
Oh,
at all, and you wouldn't let this happen to anybody, even if there wasn't your kids, just like you said. And I can suspend my disbelief for fucking, you know, uh, possessed nun movies more than I could for what was going
Yeah.
on in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
movie. It was
uh,
just so unbelievable. The dialogue,
dude.
the writing, and then the ending. I was like, all right, cool. That happened. And I was just like, my buddy Kyle was like, what'd you think, man? Did you love it? I was like, no, man,
Ugh.
that movie sucked.
The
It was so
people who
long.
loved it, like, loved it. They
Uh-huh.
loved it. And it's crazy. Even if you were the biggest pussy in the world, like, there is a certain amount of things that can happen to you that will cause, like, a reaction, like an adrenal reaction. Like, no one would just fucking sit there. I mean,
No.
they would either go into full shock or they'd go ballistic. And these people just, like, were kind of like,
Well,
like they were mildly stressed. But,
See,
like,
any
I'm
you don't
watching
need to
it, like,
release the
oh my
episode.
God.
yeah, any fucking pussy would
Yeah.
take any chance to, first of all, to get the fuck out of there. at
That's
any
true too. They didn't even
opportunity.
run,
No, they're
really.
just like, well, let's give them another chance. I'm like, how many more chance? First, not even that they were in danger, just because these people sucked and they just
Awful.
resigned themselves to the fact that they sucked. It'd be like, all right, we're just gonna go. Like, we're
No,
fucking grown
it's
as
that it's
Well,
that
adults.
it's that feeling when you're watching a movie and you're like, don't go into the room, like don't go there, don't go alone. But it's
Yeah.
that for the whole movie, but like an idiot. Like
Right,
it's just
right,
like
right.
it's like not a good feeling.
No, not a horror movie trope where you're like, oh
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah,
don't open the door. This is like,
yeah, yeah. It's
what?
like,
Like, no
yeah,
one's this
yeah, yeah.
stupid. And if they
But
are, they deserve to die. But
since we basically just reviewed it here right
yeah,
now,
there you go.
we should see the new one because there's a
Oh
good
yeah.
chance it could be a lot better.
I mean, like I said, it can't get any worse. I told someone that just the other day. I was like, oh, it can't be any worse because and they were like, what? I liked the first one. I'm like, fine, whatever.
Well, should I drop my news then? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
similar. Okay, so as it's been announced, they're remaking the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
It's
dude, I was gonna bring it wasn't a part of my horror news, but I was gonna
so
mention that. Yeah.
they're oh, we lost oops. But we have the Blair Witch Project. It's came out and it's a very big cultural movie. It's the first like popular found footage movie, and they Blumhouse, who seems to be just on a tear with these movies now.
Yeah.
Um, are doing the Blair Witch Project, and so, but beyond this movie being remade, um,
Right.
you know,
Let's hold on because Ubli had
yeah,
just sent me a text. Was like, fuck, or sent us a text.
cool. I didn't want you to have to edit too much.
Yeah. Technology,
I know.
dude, it's so bad. It's things are just
Did you
too
did you see
technology.
my Halloween photos of me of me from the Fanatic?
Yes. That's so awesome.
It was the first Halloween I ever went where not one single person knew who I was the whole day.
They're like, what? We don't get it. Be like, because you guys aren't cultured enough.
I love that movie. It was so bad but good.
I've only seen parts of it.
What? Oh, like you've
Yeah.
seen like the clips of the fun parts.
No, I mean I've like it's been on places and I've seen some of it, but I've just never seen like anything in any sort of order. It's always been pieces
Dude,
out
there
completely
is
out
a
of order.
scene. There is a scene where he just like sneaks into somebody's room wearing a fucking Jason mask, and then he's just like, "Gotcha!" And it's just like he's plays full retard. Like he goes full
Oh
retard
yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've gathered that from the parts I have seen.
I
Like
mean, when the movie started, he walks into like a Halloween store and he like farts. He's like, "Fart! I got to fart!" And it's just like, what is going on right off the bat?
oh fuck, dude. There was my buddy told the story one time about this. I don't know if he was at like Walmart or maybe he was in like an old age home that he was working at. And so this old guy comes in and he's just like, freaking out and like, and then was just like, it's happening, and just like shit himself. He's like,
Oh,
yeah, Juliet's like,
ugh,
motherfucker.
terrible.
Yeah, yeah. So what else
Fucking
is new with you, buddy?
nothing really, man. Nothing. Let's see. Saw Abigail Saturday.
Yeah,
Mhm. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there she is.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, thanks.
It's my face-off callback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
have returned.
Mike, go on with what
All
you were
right.
saying,
So
Mr.
from Speak
Terry.
No Evil to other evils in the woods, Blumhouse has decided it's a great idea to remake the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
Um,
Oh
which you
yeah.
which is whatever
yeah,
for just something that Blumhouse does now. And so, I was never a big Blair Witch person. I thought it was important for the time. I still think it's important now. I don't really like the movie. I really hate the characters and the decisions they make, like putting the map in the river.
Yeah.
But regardless of how I feel about it, they're making another one. And beyond that news of another one coming out, um, I did find this piece of news today that was pretty interesting, is that um, the filmmakers and the actors have stated that we are so proud of our little punk rock movie, and we love the fans who keep the movie alive. But at this point, it's 25 years of disrespect from the folks who've pocketed the lion's share, pun intended, because of
Hmm.
Lionsgate, of the profits
Mhm.
from our work, and that feels both icky and classless. And so the three main actors, so Heather, Michael, and Josh, who played themselves pretty much in the movie, um, they're
Ugh.
asking for, like, retroactive and future residual payments, uh, meaningful consultation on any future movies, toys, all that sort of stuff, rides. And not they've noted that their film has been rebooted twice. Both films were bad and a disappointment to fans and the box office, and neither films were made with any significant creative input from the original team. And
Right.
basically, they want this one I thought was cool, the Blair Witch Grant, a $60,000 grant. Um, the budget, which was for the original movie, was 60 grand, paid out yearly by Lionsgate to an unknown aspiring genre filmmaker to assist in making their first feature film. This is a grant, not a development fund. Hence, Lionsgate will not own any underlying rights to the project. Um, and then it goes
Good for
on some
them.
more and a rant, and I think that's
Good.
pretty cool. I don't know if Lionsgate will do anything about it.
No.
Um, if they will actually pay them, I can see them being fucking probably petty about it and just like giving like a thanks in the credits.
Hmm.
Or maybe just, maybe cutting them a check, like a one-time check of like, here you go for your likenesses, or whatever they might use. But it's a pretty important movie, and these actors and the filmmakers are not wrong in what they're saying.
Hmm.
Whether it's up to the Lionsgate to really fulfill their requests, I don't know if it'll ever happen, and I'm sure they can find ways to justify it not having to. But
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, the Blair Witch Project lives on. Maybe we'll see the witch this time. So
Well, yeah, we got to see it in one of
Yeah.
the remakes, and it was just the weird. I'm an extra long, like daddy
Oh,
long leg, wide mouth looking fucking thing.
well, it's James
I
Wan and
hate that
Jason Blum.
look.
It's going to happen
Yeah,
again.
right.
Oh, James Wan, yeah, well. So I
Yeah.
actually saw the first Blair Witch with someone who thought it was real.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you this?
No, but
I think we talked about it, but a long time ago. So Terry didn't.
probably a lot of people probably thought it was real, right?
So we were on tour and we left like right as it was starting to show up in newspapers. And like for those of you young ones who weren't old enough to remember, they like really tried to make this seem like it was a real thing. So
Yeah.
like the advertisements were like news articles, like people went missing, whatever. The radio ads, everything were truly trying to make it
Fake websites.
seem real. Yeah, website about missing person, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And this footage they found. I
Viral
mean,
marketing.
it was really really brilliant with, the small budget they had.
The
But of
marketing
course,
was better
like,
than the movie.
100%.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what it's
oh yeah.
remembered for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we left and it might have been Tsunami Bomb's very first tour, if not one of them, because Brian was still in the band. And so when we first started touring, still wasn't sure if it was a movie or what it was and kind of thought it was real. And like throughout tour, we heard more and more about it. And Dom was like, yeah, it's totally fake. It's a movie, like it's a marketing thing. And he showed me some article on like AOL or something that was like talking about what they did and how they did it. But Brian, who was like this very sweet and innocent kid from Coronado, was just like, "This is fucked up. Like, I can't believe what everything." So we agreed we weren't going to tell him. And our last show of the tour was in San Diego, and then we were staying at his parents' house for a day. So we were like, it was opening day, so we're like, we're all going to go see Blair Witch at this like giant theater in San Diego. So we go see Blair Witch Project, and like he is audibly like gasping and like like sweating and having emotional moments, and I'm like And honestly, the movie did freak me out. The ending freaked me out a little bit at that time. I think I was like
The ending was the
17 or
best part of the
something.
movie.
Yeah, like that got me and like
Right.
definite chills and I was like, "Oh, that's fucked." But so I look over as like the lights are coming up and Brian is trembling and I mean just tears everywhere and he is like borderline in shock. And he just looks at me and is like, "How could they let us watch that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." So nobody like clues him in and finally like we're like, we need to get food. So we go next door to this place called Cadillac Diner where the waitresses scream at you and like
Right,
they do
right.
synchronized dances and it's like very over the top. And like everyone else was kind of in like kind of a down mood from it just because like a lot of them did get freaked out by it, but they knew it wasn't real. So the waitress is trying to engage and everyone's just kind of like, fuck off. And Brian pretty much looks like we've kidnapped him and he's like being held captive and like is going to kill himself at any moment. And I could kind of see her giving that. And so she throws straws at us when she brings the drinks and walks away. And I don't remember if it was Dominic or me, but one of us was finally just like, it's not real. And he's
Like,
like,
dude.
how could you know that? And just like starts like getting so upset. And we're like, because all of it was fake. Like the articles, the radio, it's marketing, like it's not real. This poor, poor sweet boy just like lost it and like was just sobbing uncontrollably, like not being able to breathe because he could not believe that we didn't tell him and and that he had just gone through like all these
Oh my
emotions and like
God.
An emotional
still rem
breakdown.
I still remember it because as he's like breaking down, they started playing Rock Around the Clock and all the waiters did this synchronized dance and are like well, two of them are on roller skates and they're like there's this DJ booth, and I just remember it was like slow motion, like the stupid waitress dressed like Marilyn Monroe and the guy in Elvis, like lip syncing Rock Around the Clock. And I'm like drinking this milkshake, and I'm just like looking at Brian as he's like literally losing every ounce of emotion he's ever had at 1 second. And I was like, this shit is this is better than the Blair Witch
See,
was. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
in the days
But
before
yeah,
camera
don't
phones.
talk about it around him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't even like mention Blair Witch around him or he'll just like shoot darts right at me like you motherfucker. But it was it was so crazy to see that because there's not many times that you would actually, see a human
Right.
that went through something like that because like it wasn't real, but he thought it was. And I mean,
Poor
yeah,
guy.
he probably has spent a lot of money at the psychologist about it. He like it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I just remember going there because I went to
great
see it like
marketing.
as soon as it opened. So the whole it's a real thing was like still fresh. But 20 minutes in, I'm like, I don't even care if this is real. These people are annoying, so annoying. And I just like looked at the ceiling
Oh,
the
I wanted them to
entire
die.
movie. I was
Yeah.
just like, God, is this thing over yet? I don't care. I don't care until the end. And then I was like, oh, well, that part was cool and creepy. But by then I'm like, everything else was just so annoying and sucked so much.
Right.
I didn't care. I was like, yeah, it's a
Especially
cool ending, but who
since
cares?
like now the found footage thing has happened so much. Like the shaky
Oh
cam of
God,
the
yeah.
original Blair Witch is so rough.
Right.
It's like
Right.
really
Yeah.
shaky.
Well,
Uh,
it was real. It looked
yeah, but
like a
like
real
now
thing.
they did like 20 years later they did
Yeah.
Cloverfield and it's like
Yeah.
it looks
Well,
great. You know.
yeah, the film is
Hmm.
too good. You can
Yeah.
shake it as much as you want, but it's still like the best movie film
I
ever.
remember seeing Cloverfield with my sister. She's not like a horror monster person at all. And she's like, I'm so sick from the camera. I'm like,
I knew a
did you
lot
ever
of
see Blair
people.
Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever
Yeah.
made like got your parents' camcorder and went out and made some stupid video in the fucking 90s, that's
Oh
what it
yeah.
looked like. Like the film, everything was shitty about it. So that's why you thought it was real. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, they're making that piece of shit. That was my news.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, why make it now? It's like you're not gonna fuck with like
Yeah.
make movies about AI killing everyone. That's more believable.
Yeah.
That
There's
scares me,
already been like
not the Blair
seven
Witch.
other Blair Witch fucking type movies that
Yeah.
came out after them.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole thing about the movie and why it was interesting whatsoever is because you thought it was real and it
The
was a found
media.
footage. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Found footage, real. That was
Yeah.
it. So now, why would we need to see the version of it that we already know? We
Is
already know.
it, yeah, whatever.
I mean, it does
Oh,
kill me with like as much technology we have that they don't do more things with like websites, your cell phones to really create lore for a movie. Like we've seen some of it, like some silly things
Right.
like with the black phone
Hmm.
and different texts and numbers. But I mean, if I was in horror, I would do some serial killer shit and have some like freaky fucking stuff. But I guess you could also go to jail for that, maybe.
they try to do that shit
I
for
guess
what was they?
like I
Smile.
wonder how
Smile, yeah.
liable you would be with some things.
Right.
Yeah, that one wasn't that. I mean, it was the lens was kind of cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Trying to think what
I
else who's
think you
done
could
something
do
like
some
that.
like
I mean, you could definitely get creative with it.
you could do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I remember in the 90s a couple of movies had like the CDs that came with those like CD music magazines that would have like virtual stuff. Like
Mhm.
with the tech we have now, you could do some really scary shit.
Some TV shows have done it. I remember like first season or two of Westworld had like some crazy puzzle things going on with websites and like
Yeah.
websites within websites
Yeah.
and like
Speaking of
stuff like
this,
that.
I forget what
But I
movie
mean,
I
if you had a good thing, go on.
yeah, I was gonna say I forget what movie I watched the other week, like actual physical movie I have, and I pulled the DVD out and
Hmm.
put it in, and one of the like feature selections was CD-ROM, blah blah blah, and all. I'm like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
holy shit! And of course, it didn't work because I wasn't hooked up to the internet through my DVD player. But I was like, what the fuck? Wow,
I
I'm
bet you it
old.
wouldn't work if you put it
Oh,
into your computer.
Yeah, it's
yeah. That shit used
surprisingly
to be
I
awesome. I was all
yeah
about it.
yeah yeah I still have a laptop with a disk drive, so maybe I'll try
Try it.
and see what happens.
Yeah, try it and see.
Oh God, we're old.
Yeah. I guess you
Um,
would just have some, you could do something scary. You just have to have some really sneaky terms of service. So when people downloaded whatever it was, hopefully they just won't read it and you bury some shit in there. Like you can't sue for trauma or
Yeah,
any number of things.
I think
people
you're
ruin
right.
shit.
I, I I think you're right, Oops, though. Like to truly like do some viral marketing scary shit would to be do something with AI robots or even something like health related, like pandemic related. Like, set up like a hey, come get tested station in Times Square and be like, what are you getting tested for? Like, well, this new
Right, right.
influenza, like
Oh God.
something, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
something that's
yeah.
way too real. Like or like
Uh,
robots, one
But
of the
even then, you could
yeah.
just have an app on a phone and be like, we're doing this, whatever, get someone to download an app. And that's what I'm saying. Have some terms of service they won't even read
Yeah.
and they agree to it. And you could fucking go haywire. I mean,
yeah,
it could take over texting you from all kinds of different numbers. It could be video calling you with all kinds of scary
Yeah.
shit.
there'd be
I
so
mean, it
many
could,
lawsuits.
I mean, it could totally, you could
Yeah.
totally fuck with someone if they just gave you access to their phone via an app, even just partial access.
Right.
It'd be
But
awesome.
but I mean, even like you said, set up a lore that everybody's in on, but it's like set it up 6 months before the movie comes out. So it's like an ongoing thing. You have
Oh
to
yeah.
check in. Oh, what's the chapter on fucking Mr. Boogedy or whatever, and then leading up
Right.
to the movie and then
The
whatever.
Oh yeah.
glove man of Halifax. I found
Yeah.
out about him today.
Ooh,
You
that
guys should
sounds
look up the glove man of Halifax.
Uh-oh. Is
sounds
this some
kinky.
is this some creepy pasta?
No, 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 it's real. Morbid just did a podcast on it, but they actually interviewed a bunch of the people who rode with the glove man. Apparently, it's a very well-known thing, and the glove man has made himself public, but
I'm the glove
it's
man.
gross.
All I did was write fucking glove on fucking Google. It's warning, man of Halifax, the glove man on Reddit. Maybe I was trying to buy some
Yeah,
new
yeah.
fucking gloves.
No.
It was interesting just because like you never hear guys talk about being made to feel dirty. And he had this type that was like tall, brunette, kind of manly guys. and he
Yeah.
has them try on gloves that are too small in his car while he like jacks off or gets off on it or tries to touch himself. And it's hilarious because it's literally drunk college guys that he'd pick up and they'd be like, yeah, and he tried to sell me gloves. And he gives me this pair. It tells me to try them on, but they're too small. So I'm like trying really hard to squeeze them on. And then I look over and realize he's so
Uh,
excited. And they're like, I've never felt so dirty in my life. And I'm like, uh-huh, welcome
yeah.
to half the nights of being a
Yeah.
lady out in the clubs,
I
buddy.
mean,
Like,
Jesus.
how
I mean
does
that
that feel?
sounds like the 90s all over again.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is he'd actually give them a business card because he made the gloves himself with his own website of him trying them on and slapping the gloves and like how to order them. And it was his real cell number on there too. Like this dude didn't even think he could,
I mean, that's kind of
and he never
awesome,
even,
actually.
I mean, he's never gone to jail or anything. And the one guy who outed him and did this podcast, he started um making all these emails using the name of the podcast to try to prove he owned that name before this guy to try to claim rights to the podcast of this
Oh
guy who
man.
outed him, even though he outed himself in the process. Glove
Hmm.
Man's great. You gotta look it up. He's a
Uh,
fucking he deserves all the praise in the world for his work.
Good old glove man.
Guy.
He
oh
works hard.
man.
Yeah.
I know what I'm
Sorry.
reading tomorrow at
Yeah.
work.
There's my off. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a couple of podcasts about it. It's pretty good. Anyways,
I'll check it
moving
out.
on
Yeah.
to not real horror, to
Not
fictional horror.
not gooey horror. The only thing I got is not really news, kind of news. Pluto TV has been around for a little bit. I'm late to the game. I knew there was like horror and sci-fi channels and stuff like that on there, but the thing that is new is now they have a Universal Monsters channel, which is fucking awesome.
Oh,
Ooh,
So,
cool.
cool.
and it's cool. I mean, if the free version you can't pause or rewind or whatever, but it's cool because it'll just show just
Yeah.
Universal shit, and it's not just you old Universal stuff. Like they show the Thing, like anything that's Universal that has monsters in it, they'll show.
Cool.
So, yeah, check it out, everybody. And I was like, who the fuck? How can they get the rights to
Dude, they
put
don't
this
get
on
enough love.
free TV? And then, but Pluto's owned by who the fuck? Fuck.
ESPN or somebody.
No, Paramount. So
Oh,
I'm like, oh, well, that's why they have the money to get certain things. But yeah,
dude, Pluto and Tubi.
yeah,
Those the channels. If you really don't want to spend any money on anything, that's what you
hmm
get.
for sure.
The
Anyone got
show.
anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Hmm.
There.
Oh, did you see the trailer for the actual new M. Night Shyamalan movie, not his daughter's movie
Yes, I
with
saw it
Josh Hartnett?
right before
No,
we went live.
no, I didn't. I saw the article for it, but I didn't watch it.
So I saw the article, so then I watched it,
Uh,
and I'm actually mildly intrigued by it. It's like a reverse twist.
I feel
What will
like
his twist be when the
it's
twist is right on the surface?
I feel
it's
like
like a twist with the left hand or
it
the
did
right
the
hand.
thing though that Abigail did, which was it would have been really cool to go see Abigail and not know it was a vampire movie until the reveal happens.
Right.
And so I
Yeah,
feel like
totally.
with this M Night movie, because it's M Night and there's always a twist. I saw the trailer and I like this is really cool. And like the article talks about what it's about anyway. But if you had just seen the trailer, because I'm sure most normies are not reading the article, and they didn't spoil it because they spoil it in the trailer,
Yeah.
it would be cooler.
But
However,
in his
unlike
phone, it
Abigail,
shows what it is.
does it?
The tra
Well,
the
well,
trailer,
yeah.
he looks at his phone and there's a guy in the basement tied up. But you know what I think it is? I think his daughter is the killer.
Ooh,
And his
twist of a
daughter's a
twist.
vampire, and he's just the vampire's servant.
Oh, and that's
Yeah.
why they're at the concert because the concert is a blood ritual.
There you go.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, it looks like a fun movie. I'm a M Night fan, so it looks fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll
I'm like
see.
a love hate with him, but I will always see his movies just so I can either get really pissed off, disappointed, or slightly amused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of us. That's an M Night
Yeah,
fan.
that's his
That's
thing.
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's his thing, man.
And then we argue over which ones are worse than others, even though we all
Right.
agree that The Happening
The
is the worst
Village.
one.
The fucking Village. I
No, I
love The
fucking love The
Happening.
Village.
No, The
I love
Happening
The
is the
Village.
best.
Fuck off.
The Happening is so good.
The Village is
I
the
mean, The
best
Sixth
one.
Sense is obviously
Happening
the
is
best
so
one.
good.
Actually, Signs is the best one,
Yeah.
but The Village is really good too.
Yes, signs. Let's fucking take over a planet that's mostly water and not be able to have water touch us. That's a fucking
Signs
brilliant,
is
brilliant
so
idea.
scary. Signs is so scary.
No, it's
So,
not.
yes, it
The
was.
village is literally just some fucking like losers hanging out in the woods thinking that
Yeah.
future hasn't happened. Well, they
Yeah.
know it did. They're just hiding it from the kids. Like, it wasn't that they marketed that as a horror and it wasn't a horror. It sucked.
I
Happening
agree.
was scary
I
and it
agree.
had
Was
good
that
gore.
was that the
But
one with
Signs was scary.
Marky Mark?
Yes.
Apparently, M. Night's real talent is just turning people against each other
Yeah. Creating division. That son of a bitch.
and making us all see a different movie because I don't
Uh-huh.
understand how someone I love like Mike Terry could like The Village because it hurts my soul that anyone would like that movie
The problem with The Village is
deep
also
inside.
I was enjoying The Village,
Yes.
and me and my dad have we go to the movies a lot together, and not so much anymore, but we used to go a lot, and we saw The Village together, and like legit, like fucking 15 minutes in, my dad whispered in my ear, and he's not really a movie talker. He's like, this is happening now. That's all he said. I was like, what? He's like,
Mm-hmm.
see, you'll see.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did he fucking guess it? I don't know how he guessed it. Like I have no idea. We saw it like opening weekend.
Because
There's no way he got spoiled by it, but he
you know,
guessed it.
old people know about cults. So they're like,
I
oh
guess
yeah.
so.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say The Village about 3/4 of the way through. I knew what it was.
Sure. Yeah.
Not at the beginning, but definitely like an hour to an hour and a half in. I was like, oh,
But The
yeah,
Village and Lady in the
they're in some like
Water,
forest.
like all these M. Night movies, a lot of them, like old, they all should be like 45-minute to an hour TV shows and not
God, I
movies.
forgot about
yeah.
Lady in the Water.
That was my
Lady
big
in the Water
letdown.
made me want to punch
Just
babies.
block
I
it
Oh
was
my
out.
so
God.
excited. I brought so many
Yeah.
friends to that movie. They were so mad at me.
As they should
Yeah,
be.
that was just real disappointing.
It was a really good trailer.
I
Really good
I
trailer.
I actually blocked out most of that movie, but I remember
Yeah.
the disappointment.
Paul
There
Giamatti,
was something with a
legend.
yeah. I don't want to think about it because then it'll start taking up space again. I need
Yeah.
that. I need to stay
Get out of
gone.
here.
All you got to remember is the trailer at the end. It was just the lady in the water.
Yeah.
It's just like a whisper.
He's good at trailers. That's his thing. That was his jam. He can make a good trailer. And then everything
The
else.
Watchers trailer looks interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, the premise reminds me kind of like an H.P. Lovecraft sort of
Yeah,
feel.
definitely.
It could go that way.
Yeah, you know what? The trailer,
I like the ominous vibe.
Mm-hmm.
the trailer gives off one vibe, but then when I read the synopsis, I was like, because I was looking about Trapped, and they were talking about both the Shyamalan movies. I was like, oh, like the synopsis for The Watchers gives way more away. So just don't read it. Don't read about it.
I don't know why they
Okay,
do
I'm
that.
not.
Like for movies that
I,
haven't
I
come out yet, if you go on like IMDb or wherever, they'll give you just
Oh,
the
and they just
entire
give the whole
fucking
fucking
movie.
thing?
It's
Yeah.
like, stop that. Wait till the movie, I don't know, hits video or
yeah,
streaming or
I get it
whatever.
too. Like when trailers give too much, like just because we were talking about like
Right.
Abigail, like if they didn't give you the vampire
Of
in it,
course.
you wouldn't. Nobody would have gone to that movie unless they'd be like, "Why are we going to this kidnapped
Right.
ballerina movie?"
Right.
It'd be whatever. So I get why they give stuff away, but some trailers give the whole
But they
movie
could have
away.
done something like a oh no, they do, and I hate that. But Abigail, they could have done something like the next Universal Monster movie.
Right.
And then did the
Right.
trailer to where you know the girl's evil or something's up with her, but you have no fucking idea what it is.
Oh, yeah, it's a
mean,
Because I
genre
don't know
film.
that I would have guessed vampire.
Yeah.
No,
Hollywood loves ripping shit off from old stuff so much. Just go back and look at old trailers.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you didn't see anything. It was just big words coming at you. Oh, scary. Whatever. Fucking creepy,
long
crawly.
long legs.
Yeah, just do that. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We'll
They
see.
they could have just showed the girl ballet dancing, people in a house, those windows closing, and then just spray blood over the fucking
Yeah.
TV screen, and that's the trailer, Abigail.
Yep.
You don't know what the fuck's going on, but you
Yeah.
know it's gonna be gory and you know it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Done.
So
You
you'll
know
want to
there's a
Done.
see what
kid.
happens. Ooh, what's this about? I want to go see it. But yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
well, that's let's get into the movie. That's been
We got some horror news.
Horror rants. Horror
yeah.
rants.
Horror news.
Woo.
Got some
Uh,
good horror news there, kiddos.
yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Late Night with the
Ow.
Devil. What do
Bum,
we
bum,
want to start
bum.
off with? What we liked or what we didn't like?
Mm.
The synopsis.
Yeah, I guess we
Yes.
should. Let me find. See, always gotta go with the lead synopsis on IMDb because if once you get down, then they give like the giant one, and that's just way too long. A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms.
What a great, easy synopsis.
Right? Easy.
Like, pure.
Right to the point. No frills, but all thrills.
All thrills. Who wrote this movie? The Carneses.
Yeah,
Carnes? Yeah.
Cairns.
Cairns.
Cameron and
What have
Colin
they done?
Cairns.
A whole lot of nothing. Let's see.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh, they
Or
did?
or wait, no, this is just more like this. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
I was gonna say they have
Oh,
two
I
giant
was like,
movies out right now.
yeah, no, I don't know what they did.
I don't know either.
I
Yeah,
don't
Love
think they've
Lies
done
Bleeding.
anything, man.
Let's
Uh,
see.
they don't have. I can't click on their names on Wikipedia. Man, we are a prepared professional podcast. I
That's
promise.
fucking right. Known for 100 Bloody Acres,
Nope.
2012. Nope. Scare Camp, 2016, and that
The
That
is
sounds true.
mule. The
yeah.
mule sounds kind of familiar.
Scare Camp
Oh,
sounds
and then a bunch
familiar.
of stuff without even a picture online. Hmm. No, it's not Scare Camp, it's Scare Campaign.
Scare Campaign.
Oh,
Yeah. Celestial Avenue. What is going on with IMDb? It
And
is.
it's
and
right next to
Scare
Electric
Campaign
Avenue.
has like
Yeah.
these movies look bad. Like
Yeah, they
real
do.
bad.
Well,
Wow.
well, the
Scare
synopsis
Campaign looks like a very
was nice.
special level of bad.
Yeah. Let's uh let's
Yeah.
start off with what we liked about it. I think that'll be a good way
I
to
like the 70s
same.
and I like talk shows in the 70s.
Same.
And
I
I
will
like
come.
I like spiritualist debunkers because they're silly.
Uh-huh.
And I like people who also believe in spiritual stuff, especially in the 70s, because they're silly too.
Yes. Whoa, he looks way different.
And I and I
He
also like that they talk about Bohemian Grove because I
yes.
know about Bohemian Grove and my
Shh,
mom worked there.
shh, shh. Don't say it. Don't tell
Shh.
Yeah, not too loud. They're
She only worked
listening
one shift and then she quit because it was too weird.
There you
at
go.
the Grove during the day, but not during the retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Gotcha.
she worked at dinner at a retreat.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Is that
That's terrifying.
is that an owl in your room?
That's why I love rich people shit and rich people doing crazy shit. I grew up in
Yeah.
Sonoma County, man. That is peak rich people doing rich people crazy shit.
Yeah.
That is
So,
crazy.
I mean, and it's funny because like growing up, my mom was and my dad were both like, but mostly my mom's super overprotective because she was always talking about like kidnappings and like cult stuff and all this crazy stuff. And I always was like, whatever. And it's funny
Satanic
because now I
panic.
listen. Well, now I listen to so many podcasts, and all of it, like at least once a week, one is in Sonoma or Santa Rosa, where I grew
Oh
up, and
yeah.
during the time I was growing,
Too
and
much
it was
sun
like,
burns the brain.
and it was like, it's like it's not that sunny there. I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
guess there's some sun, but anyways, it is interesting because, like there, if you look, it is a lot. I mean, a lot of serial killers killed around there, a lot of hitchhiker slayings, but it is like one of the highest areas for children's world,
Pro pro
including like
abductions. Yeah.
third world countries. Hmm.
Hmm. Well,
So
that's good.
you like the Bohemian Grove aspect of the movie.
Well, because it's just cool tying something in, like, I know what that is.
I thought the same thing when that scene when they I like any movie, not just this movie, but this movie did it great, which is you were about to see some footage that we fucking found, and here's some backstory for no fucking reason.
Right,
So you
right.
can understand the footage. Because they were
Yeah.
like, this is what was going on at the
Yeah.
time. Let's catch you up on what was going on at the time so that when you see this footage, you'll understand why you're watching it. And I thought that was cool. It was presented like a TV show program was showing you a TV show program and gave
Right.
you some, you know,
Yeah.
backstory. And like the backstory was perfect. This movie was a tight 93 minutes. And I say tight, meaning they gave you a lot of info in the beginning and then they just let it happen. And then at the end, it got bonkers. But
Right. Very
from the beginning
Kubricky.
to the middle, it was very like a nice roller coaster ride. And just, as you
Hmm.
said, the things you liked, the aesthetic was a major one. The
Hmm.
aesthetic was very pleasing.
Well, the
The
execution on
acting was great.
yeah, the acting, the characters are good. The actors playing the characters were good. The pulp grindhousey like execution on the 70s thing was awesome. I know people are kind of like bent that a lot of that art was AI. So they're like, nah, but who fucking
Yeah,
cares? It's
that's
cool.
kind of the
I mean,
first.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was that was some of the first, when the movie first dropped like a few weeks ago. The first reviews were like all about the AI stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know where do they use AI, and
What
it was
AI? I didn't even notice the AI stuff.
Well,
it's in the movie. It's like when they
like
cut
like
when
the
they're doing the
TV breaks.
commercials,
Yeah.
like the TV breaks, like we'll be
Oh,
right
who the
back.
fuck cares?
They
Right.
were using art, like AI art,
Yeah.
and
Which
so
I mean, if they got an artist to
Which
do it,
probably does it better for, right.
right. A
Yeah.
guy would just look back, oh, what fucking shit did they use back in the 70s? I'll just copy it and make it slightly different anyway. So who cares? Like,
I think
Right. And
it was a honest the argument is there and I agree with the people who are upset about it. However, it was a not big part of the movie. Yes, it could
no.
have given somebody a job, but it was a very minor part of the movie. And
Right.
so it didn't affect my viewing of it all. I didn't look down upon it at all
No.
because of the AI. Uh,
oh,
what I you know what? There wasn't much I didn't like about this movie, but
Right.
I
I,
mean,
lo-
I
I
think the best part is if you didn't know who any of the actors were, if someone told me this was made in the 70s, I might believe them.
totally.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the actor did such a good
Like
job.
The characters were
like if I
pretty
hadn't
depth
heard about it or anything and
Yeah.
I just
Hmm.
watched it and didn't recognize them, I would totally believe this is an old movie.
with the little time of on screen that we get of each character throughout this movie. The the debunker guy, the crazy guy who's always on, like
Carmichael.
they yeah, he has such a great role, and they all do, of like when the cameras are rolling, we are on. And then as soon as the cameras cut, we are not on. And
Yeah.
it's just a great job from everybody playing their role of like act like you're being filmed right now. You're not filmed right now, and doing the black and white transitions
That was
and all
cool.
that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And yeah,
And Gus. Gus was
I thought it
awesome.
was yeah, I just thought it was just
Yeah.
very good characters, all very memorable characters.
Right.
Everybody was memorable.
Hmm.
Anybody they focused on was not a wasted character.
Right. Well, even the ones I didn't really focus on, like the what was it, the lead camera tech guy, Christopher Kirby,
Yeah.
Phil,
Hmm.
like he was good because he was
Yeah.
played it exactly how you would if anyone's ever been on like a high stress kind of TV environment. People are trying to talk to him and he's just like, I don't even hear you right now. I'm just focusing on what I need to focus on and whatever. He was like a good, I don't, not, he was like a good, it's kind of levity because he was funny how he's just so dismissive of people, but he's like a good break in contrast from everybody else because he was the most straight character. Like, this is my
Yeah.
job, this is what I'm doing. Everyone else is kind of quirky, whereas he's just like the no nonsense camera tech dude that just needs to get shit done. So it gave a good contrast between like
Yeah.
real world and then Hollywood weirdos that are just
It
trying to
was
get
cool how
famous.
they pushed the story along with like the whole rating storyline, like the
Right.
ratings dropping storyline is like the cause
Right.
for everything else for happening. I thought that was pretty cool because you just get a lot of like why the pressure is on all these people. Like everybody knows that like their jobs are like kind of on the line while this is going on.
Right.
So they are like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They're like, if some crazy shit's gonna happen, but we need this to happen because we're losing viewers, kind of thing. I thought that
Right.
was really cool.
Inaccurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, no one cares
This
about
is
what
the
life. They
large
just need the ratings. Like, who cares?
is the largest grossing
Hmm.
IFC film in the
Yeah,
opening weekend.
dude. IFC and Shudder
Oh, wow.
have been dropping lots of movies lately.
Best opening weekend for an IFC film.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully it means there's still a future for Shudder.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
they made
dude, did- they're they're a part of Arcadian. That's coming out or is already out.
Hmm.
Um, this
Yep.
there was some other thing that was just in the theaters that I saw that Shudder did something for too, and IFC and all that. So, I mean, AMC's they got the money. They're I don't think they're going anywhere.
it,
Like Shudder, I mean,
it's getting really positive reviews from like mainstream things.
dude,
Even
people
though
are
it's very much like a horror movie, you know.
yeah are dropping loads over this fucking
I
movie.
mean, it is, but like this would also appeal to the art house crowd. This would
Yeah,
appeal to other people too. I mean,
Yeah,
there's definitely like some gory or shocking stuff, but this is also kind of like a timepiece drama in a way. I don't know.
totally. Period
right.
piece kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I could like if I went to the theater and watched this with my dad, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, I took him to see this." Like, why the
Yeah,
fuck did I do this? I feel like he'd watch it and be like, "Oh yeah," and then probably have some memories of the 70s and fucking
Yeah.
people and whatever.
But your dad would
Um,
maybe my dad would do this, but I don't know about your dad, but my dad would hate the ending. But he would like the whole movie until the end.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad wouldn't like the ending. He probably wouldn't care for the worm part, which is hilarious because it's like my dad's the one who like showed me Running Man and like every fucking indie movie ever. But as he's gotten older, he doesn't like that stuff anymore,
right. It's
which is
funny.
funny because I was always like, that would never be me. And it hasn't been at the level it was with him. But there are definitely some things in horror movies now that I used to not care about at all that I'm like, I wish they wouldn't have done that. Like, it's weird. Like,
Yeah, totally.
there is,
Yeah.
I think mine's more like just like over the top gratuitous, like pedophilia stuff or like things like that where when I
Right,
was
right.
younger I was like whatever and now that you're an adult you're like okay like fuck that
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
I
is
got the
funny how that changes.
the kid
Well, you have
problem
a
for
kid
me.
now too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
definitely that definitely makes things like stakes in movies feel a lot different than before. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I own a Serbian film. I don't buy.
Right.
I've showed it to people on joyous occasions, and and then something like what did we
Salvo.
just? No, what was the movie we just saw where the dog attacks the kid?
Oh,
Uh, when evil lurks.
right.
Oh, when evil lurks.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
movie, that was fucked for me. Like
Okay.
worse than the pedophilia to a kid. Just seeing the dog, because
Yeah.
I'm a dog lover too. So having a
Because
dog
you
and
have a
having
dog, yeah.
and yeah, and when you have a pit bull breed too, and you have a kid, you're like, all right, like everyone's already gonna know like about like I got to be careful about my kid no matter what dog's
Yeah.
around. But so I don't know that sort of shit. But for the most part,
Of
nah, most
course.
other horror shit doesn't bother me. Like
Yeah.
I just saw Immaculate, and my wife is like 7 months pregnant, so that shit didn't bother me. But so it depends. It depends. But
You
I'm
know what
sure it would bother
Oh,
her.
totally.
I liked how they worked the possession angle. instead of just your typical, oh, okay, this kid's locked in a room, you got to go and whatever. Didn't, you know, uh, but having her come on the show with her therapist slash guardian, and she was a part of a cult, who, was obviously like the Church of Satan and Anton LaVey type people.
Oh, it was
Um,
so
Yeah.
good. That shit
yeah.
was so good.
Um, but yeah, I was like, well, this is cool because it gave, I mean, it's not necessarily new, but it's a fresher spin on the possession stuff, which I appreciated. So I was like,
No,
yeah, that's
totally. I
cool.
also liked when the debunker guy um basically showed how you could realize it was hypnosis and
Oh
play
yeah,
the show back because the cameras wouldn't lie.
right.
That
And
was
he's
so
just like,
good.
see? And then they show what happened with the girl, and you're like, yeah, motherfucker,
Yeah, see?
shut
And
the
he's
fuck
like,
up.
oh, well, it's got to be. I need those tapes. I want to
Yeah,
analyze the footage.
Yeah, she's got to have strings on her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Just
One of the
I don't
things
know.
that bugged me though is when the girl was possessed, the double voice or triple voice, how they use sometimes would kind of get a little muddy. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
mean, you can understand it, but it was starting to get real like, I was just like, oh, if you just kept it at that,
I
like,
think they were trying to do that.
yeah, I mean, maybe, but I was like, oh, if you just kept it with her voice, but with the backing of whoever else is, you know, overdubbed with
Hmm.
her, I said that was perfect because it was still giving you that vibe. But when it's got too much, it just
What
got
was
too like
weird too
distorted.
is they mention how, well, the host mentions how at the end of her first thing, it sounded like him.
Right,
I watched that part twice and it kind of does, but it has all those layers. So to me,
right,
that didn't stand out as much. And I think in that part, they should have like gotten rid of all of that and literally just done his voice,
right,
Hmm.
like
right,
clearly, if they wanted that effect. And I didn't, at least for me, it didn't sound like that. Like you heard parts of it, but it wasn't clear. And
right,
so I
right, right,
watched it again just to be like, is it clear? And I mean, it's there, which I guess if you're that person and you hear your voice subtly, even with other layers, you're going to be like, that fucking sounded like me. And maybe that plays into his paranoia and everything when the guy's like, dude, you're hearing what you want to hear.
right.
But I think it should have been more of like
Yeah,
it's him.
yeah. Well, because it did it a couple times with his wife when she was like,
Hmm.
"Don't I look pretty?" It was just his wife's voice. So you're like, "Oh, okay." And then it
Right.
would, yeah. So I definitely agree with you. It would have been way more effective if it was just that instead of just layering it with like five different voices. And you're like, oh, I mean, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's been movies like this kind of made, like that does like the One Night on Halloween, like marathon kind of thing on TV stuff. I've seen
right.
something like it, but
And that
nothing
was,
this
Hmm.
not
yeah.
like this cohesive with like a
Mhm.
cohesive thought or with like the caliber of acting or money in the movie, like put into the movie.
Or just with a
But
Oh, totally.
solid storyline
well, solid story, solid writing,
up until the ending, which was a thing that
which like
I was
it
like,
could have. I mean, that the ending though, like that, you could have wrote anything bonkers and it would have been bonkers. It had that
right,
like it had what I
Yeah.
like. It had what I like and don't like about Rob Zombie movies. And so like
right,
it reminded me very much of
Hmm.
like the end of A House of a Thousand Corpses, where it
right.
just kept getting crazier
Or
and crazier.
or
No fucking way.
no,
I don't think the end of this movie is crazy at all. I
it
was totally let down by it.
right. Well, me too, me
No,
too.
no, but like the whole
Well,
like when the
I
beginning of it,
oh,
when it
it was
first,
reaching.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
What was that
right.
movie you did? The witch
No, okay, I can see that.
the Salem, was it Witches of Salem or like
Salem, yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Lords of
It,
Salem.
Lords, yeah.
Lords of Salem.
It was like that. It was a
That movie sucked.
Very Kubricky, like, let's just kind of get weird with it, which
Sure.
fits in with, if you step back with the whole storyline. But for me,
Sure.
like, like you just said, like I was let down with it. I would have loved if it would have just stayed with the possession angle. It,
100%. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, wait, because then it's like,
Well, it also veers away from what you're watching. You're supposed to be
right,
watching the episode of that aired on TV with
right,
some like added
Well,
in stuff, but like you wouldn't
I
have
mean,
seen what he saw.
right, right. I was just like, fuck,
well,
because
but
it's
not even that, dude. Like the wife, I don't even think needed to be a part of it. And
not
I know
really.
that ended up being a big part of it, but like the fact that because of her death, ratings fell, like all this other stuff, and it has that arc, but like that whole thing with her at the end and then alluding that like whatever he drank and the pact he made at Bohemian Grove was like she died because he got ratings, basically, like a selling the
Right,
soul sort of thing.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
Like that whole part to me was just like fodder. Like, and then at the end too, it's like a person dressed like an owl when Bohemian Grove is a giant statue of an owl, which they showed before, and they that to me was like you just said Kubrick, like that
right.
reminds me of The Shining and that dog furry thing
Yeah,
in the room.
yeah.
You know
The
that
bear
like
bear getting a blowjob.
oh that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
The owl reminded me of that where I was like, why did they just do that?
yeah,
Like it's just
yeah.
but also that's kind of that fever dream sort of thing that the whole
Right,
movie was supposed to be. But and I'm okay with that, but I feel like that scene with the wife in bed was just like because it didn't tug on my heartstrings because you don't
No, it
know
was
enough
just
about her to care about her. You care about him and the fact that she died a little bit, but also he's hitting on the woman who's taking care of the kid. Like, I don't know if we
yeah.
really like him.
I
He's
yeah,
kind of a dick too. So like, no, there was no emotional attachment. So that
I
part
don't
could
No,
think
have
you were
just been
supposed
thrown
to.
out.
I don't think you were supposed to feel emotionally attached to that scene. I think you were supposed to feel real weirded out by it.
but it didn't even make you feel
Hmm.
weird though. It's just kind of like,
Oh,
oh,
I felt weird watching it. I was like, this is creepy and weird.
I just felt,
Yeah.
oh, this is where we're going with it now. Because I
Well,
was
that
already
too. Yeah.
invested with
Yeah.
the girl and the whole
Right, right.
possession thing, and then it just
Yeah,
because that's only like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're
Well,
I
like,
mean, look, you know how you actually they should have taken like a real thing from the Shining book and with his wife had him and her in some kind of like sexy scene, like a bathtub thing. And as like something's happening,
right,
all of a sudden she turns into this like cancerous, gross patient and it's just
yeah,
like, you did this to me
right,
instead of this
right,
like bedridden Darth
uh-huh.
Vader thing. Like,
right.
you know what you did, like your show's gonna be great now, whatever. Like
Kill
that
me, kill me. He's like,
Yeah,
I
but
think
you know what?
I
This
think
way might have been
that to
more
this
original.
kind of movie fan doesn't gonna help.
yeah.
I mean,
It,
I
Yes,
guess. I don't know
your
if
idea
that's
might have been
original
better.
either.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I still wish it would have just stayed with
Yeah.
that, even if it would have ended up with him killing her, killing the kid on live TV, where then he like it's the highest rated show, but he gets put in prison or whatever happens, and
Mm.
then the devil, quote unquote, is unleashed into the world through the TV. Whatever. Like I would have much preferred that than it just spinning, getting a little crazy at the end. I mean, it fits and it works
Do you know
with
what I
what it
really
is, but
hoped?
what?
What?
What I really, really hoped is after he stabbed her, when he's like, "Is anyone awake?" or whatever he's saying, I was really hoping that every other person on stage would be alive and the whole audience would be there and they'd all just start cheersing and then blackness.
Right.
That's it.
Oh,
Like just it just cuts to black.
Yep.
Like it was just all his fucking hallucination because he should not have gone back after his wife died and he was not okay and like
oh, yeah. That's pretty
everything
Yeah.
good too.
was
Yeah,
and everything was kind of fake except for he was hypnotized, right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
He
And thought it
he
was
thought he saw
like
his
because he
wife.
was so
All this stuff.
sick. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And that
Yeah.
everyone else
Well,
is just sitting there after he stabs this girl, like, oh my God.
Like,
like they could have
fuck.
played it like there might have been some supernatural thing going on, and you could, it's up to the viewer to decide whether there was or not.
Right.
But then the fact that if he just killed
Right.
his everybody at the end would have been better because we're supposed to be watching something that people watched on TV. Like that's what they
Right.
told us. We're
Exactly.
watching the episode of TV that aired, you
And,
know.
and, and I mean, it still does that at the end. It still is like, did he kill everybody? Or
Right,
did this supernatural thing actually happen? Or like
right.
what happened? Because
Mm.
her head isn't
The
split.
one guy's head is still backwards,
True,
though.
but he could have broke his neck. I don't know.
I
And
did
what's
like
his name?
skeleton.
Carmichael was on
No.
fire. So
Oh,
he,
true. Yeah,
but the girl's head
Yeah.
wasn't split open. So I was like, is it him that just killed everybody or what? But
yeah.
I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
I love the effects though in the movie with the fucking lights exploding and like the
Oh yeah.
visual effects of the head
Yeah.
splitting open. Super fun, and I love the
It was
awkward
like
like
The
camera
Last
shot.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Well, see, those effects, the electric effects they used in the 80s, which was all just like rotoscope weird shit that they would
sure.
just draw over,
Hmm.
look so much better than the CGI stuff they use now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, which it kind of used in this a
Well, it's because
little bit.
the film grain is also like old, so it works with it.
Right. And I'm when
Right.
they were using like with the theremin and that shit started going off and the things, I was like, oh, well, this is cool. Like,
Boop,
even though
boop,
it's
boop.
yeah, the
Hmm.
CGI, they did it to make it look like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it should look anyway. I was like, "Ah,
I did
fucking
love
right.
creepy. Before I go into the one another a thing that I didn't like, I did love how they link the camera lingers on the skeleton guy in the
Right,
crowd.
dude. Yep.
Like, and I was just like,
Oh, loved him.
and like I really would I didn't want him to be involved at all. Like I didn't want I wanted him to like go like Oubliette was saying, like if he went crazy at the end, like the guy who was the skeleton guy was just like a regular guy in the crowd and not part of
Right.
the cult because he shows up in the hallucination.
Yeah.
He's there
Yeah.
with
But
the other
they
dude, I think.
yeah, but they do make it seem like at some point
Like
during
that
the
he's like important
right. Yeah.
to it all. But I really wish
Yeah.
he didn't. I wish he was just like a regular person there who was just dressed up for Halloween.
Right.
It just happened to be like
Same.
focused upon. Yeah, because I think that would have been cooler. But maybe I bet you these are conversations they had while writing. Like maybe this, you know, I bet you
I'm
this is
sure.
like it could have flipped a coin either way. It would have worked. What I didn't like though, is how much this movie made me want to smoke cigarettes again. I wanted to smoke a cigarette the whole time this movie was going on. It's
Actually,
so
same. Yeah.
everybody was, and I went and saw it alone. And I was just like sitting there watching it. And I was like, man, if I totally want a cigarette right now, just watching this movie. And I was just like, all those 70s movies do that because everybody's just fucking
Everybody
smoking all the
smokes.
time. And it's like
Hmm.
glorified. It's like happening on
Uh-huh.
set. Every time they do a commercial
Oh,
break,
yeah.
he's fucking smoking. There's an ad. I think there's a commercial. Maybe I'm making this up in my mind, but I thought there was like an ad where there was a commercial for cigarettes somewhere. Or like
Maybe.
because his wife gets
Probably.
cancer too.
We
So
are right.
like,
Yeah.
there's like a whole thing there.
Well, it's so
Um,
it's I mean, I don't know if you guys were flying by this time, but remember the ashtrays in the arms of the planes and
Of
the
mhm.
course.
armrests. Yeah.
My mom was smoking the whole time. Yeah.
It's so wild to think like,
Dude, my
Man.
dad's office, when I would go visit him
oh
and
yeah.
like hang out, like
Oh
they all
yeah.
smoked in their
Yep.
office, smoked everywhere. I still remember smoking in the mall.
Yep.
Oh yeah. My school, some of the desks, because their school was so old, it was built like during the Depression. Some of the desks had fucking ashtrays built into the old desks, like the
Yeah.
desks that were like the desk with the chair
Oh
attached
yeah.
to them,
Yep.
like the students' desks. These are
Yeah.
students' desks.
Hey man, kids,
Yeah.
they need a cigarette after a fucking hard morning's
Oh my
work in the
God,
fucking
it'd be
coal mines,
crazy. Yeah.
and then
I
they got to go
mean,
to school.
high school had smoking sections until
Yep.
like I think what like
Probably
89 they
probably the late
outlawed
80s,
it.
right? Yeah.
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 But yeah, yeah. So that was something I didn't like. It just made
Yeah.
me want to smoke the whole
Well,
time.
the
Because it was like pretty it was really good at building the tension too. Like I was really wrapped
Yeah.
into it. Yeah,
it was.
until it went bonkers at the end, and I was like, all right, here we are. But but like the ride to the bonkers part was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the worm and everything was so good. That shit was so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
the butthole worm, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You cut.
Carmichael too, like the
Yeah.
bunker, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that
Both
guy.
those guys were good.
And
Him
I
and
and I loved his face
Chris
when
Stew
they
or
tell
whatever.
him
Yeah.
I loved his face when they tell him the first guy died,
Hmm.
puking his guts out. He was just like
Yeah.
with his
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
cigarette.
What?
Yeah, and like I love the idea. He's like, you don't want to use your check and this and that, and like it was just like I don't know. And the acting, like I know we haven't really talked about him much in it, but David, I can never say his last name. David Dashameli. How do you say his name?
I don't
Dasmashian,
maybe.
I don't know.
the main actor,
Right.
phenomenal, phenomenal. Like he was so good.
Dashmalian.
Dashmalian, he was so good.
Dashmalchian?
Dashmaklian,
David D. We'll
Dashmakalian,
just call him David D.
DD. He
Double
was so
D.
good, and it makes me upset because, like we say every year, something like this will not get any notice in like Academy Awards or Golden Globes. But he is very good in this movie. Very good. He's playing it perfectly.
Yeah.
Have you read his story
No, I just remember
or
him.
anything about his past?
No, I remember he was in Dark Knight. That's how I
So,
remember him.
well, he was in the beginning of Smile.
Hmm.
Okay.
He's the main person in the beginning.
Okay.
So he started taking darker roles. So he was a heroin addict for a long time.
Ah,
He was also a polka dot guy in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I knew
Um,
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but anyways, he was an heroin addict. He battled with all kinds of stuff, but he battled with like suicidal thoughts for a really, really, really long time.
Mm,
And although that's what happens, I think that's what happens to his character in Smile. That's why he started taking that role, and then he took darker roles because he felt like he was actually getting better the darker roles he took because he could learn more about himself and those things and get past them if he like immersed himself in them. But he's done a couple interviews talking about it, and they're some are on video, and they are honestly really, really heartbreaking. But
mm,
he wants to do more stuff like this because it's actually helping him process
Like
everything he
therapy.
went through when he kind of tried to squash it and forget about it, and it came back up and he got really suicidal again. So that's been
damn.
like his
Hmm.
process now. Yeah.
He
He
did
did
a
a
lot
really
of things.
candid interview after Smile, and I watched it and was like, I fucking love this guy. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't
he's a good
playing
actor.
victim or like anything else. He was just like, I think this is my way that I can be really happy. So he's like, get ready for a lot more kind of dark things for me.
He seems like just like a genuinely good dude because he just did a
Yeah.
live question and answer for Shutter on Instagram like the other day. So, and he seemed super cool. And
Yeah.
then any interview I've
No,
seen
I
him in,
mean
he's super
he's
nice.
like a super empathetic but not very social type of
Yeah.
person. I think he's coming out of that, but he's like also wicked, wicked funny
Hmm.
if you watch some of his interviews. But
Dude,
yeah,
just
he
listen to
reminds
this
me,
real. He was
yeah.
from Kansas, moved to Chicago, studied theater. Then I don't want to see a fucking ad for Planet of the Apes. Okay, and then after college, after he went to acting school, and then after that, he went and became a professional fisherman in Alaska, and then
Yeah.
was a circus
Yeah.
performer, a movie theater usher, and a
Yeah.
playwright.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
It's,
Yeah, he's like really weird. He reminds me of Crispin Glover
yeah.
actually a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, I
Like if
get
you
that
Definitely.
kind
vibe
of
from him
Yeah.
a lot.
if you read like things he's done and then also hear the way people talk about him, they either say he's like a total fucking asshole, and that's usually from like hyper social happy people who probably don't know how to deal with people who aren't like matching their level
Right.
of enthusiasm,
Ugh.
or from other people who are just like they're the most sensitive, nice, thoughtful, amazing people ever. And yeah, like I think he's kind of the modern, like
I
the
think
Crispin.
the
is
next
he un
generation Chris McGliver.
I think he's
Totally.
uncredited in Smile. He's not in Smile. Everywhere I look, it doesn't say that he was in it. Look,
Maybe
it
it's
is.
not oh no, Boogeyman. Boogeyman.
Okay, yeah, he's in Boogeyman. Yeah, yeah, he's in
Maybe.
Boogeyman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep,
So
he's in
he's
Boogeyman.
in the opening scene. He's the one who
I didn't see
kill,
Boogeyman.
think he kills him. Oh, don't.
It's
I
probably
mean,
it's
Don't.
it's probably why
watch
when you said
watch
Smile, I was like,
watch
my
the
face was like,
first
I don't
15
remember him in that.
minutes.
He's in the last
Watch
voyage
the
of the
first 50,
Demeter.
no,
Yeah.
maybe. Oh yeah, he's one of the
Yeah.
main
The
guys in it.
He's all
deckhands.
over the
Yeah.
place. You know, he's Ant-Man, Weird Al
Yeah.
story, Dune, Suicide Squad,
Oh yeah. Dude,
MacGyver,
yeah, the last like 5 years he's been doing a lot and I'm so psyched for it because he's great.
Bird
Everything he's
Box,
in, he fucking does such a good job.
Twin Peaks. That makes
But
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. He seems pretty
yeah,
rad. I like all the roles he does. And in this one in
They,
particular is probably my favorite that he's done because he played it so good. Perfectly.
yeah.
Perfect.
he was a producer on it
But
too.
he
He got
also
a
has such
producing
a
credit.
good, he has such a good look for horror. Like
Hmm.
I think, oh God, there's been too much Dracula stuff, but he
Yeah.
could totally do like
He could have been
a
Nosferatu.
Renfield.
Did you hear about this movie that he's
Well,
doing?
yeah,
Yeah.
Nosferatu, or he could totally be like a Renfield
Yep.
type character.
This movie is right up his alley. He's doing a movie coming out called The Life of Chuck. It's a science fiction drama
Yes,
written
the
by Mike Flanagan. It's Stephen King book.
Hmm.
yep.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Cool. You guys want to rate this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Who wants to go first? I'm struggling.
I will. I
Okay.
will. I give it because of its hour and a half runtime, it's getting an extra point 0.5.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be a 3, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5,
Okay.
which is crazy because I don't think I'll ever watch this again.
Right.
I might if it came on. It's not a super rewatchable movie for me because it's not fun. But like I said, if you showed me this movie and there had been no previews, I hadn't heard about it, I didn't know the actors, I would actually believe it was filmed in the 70s.
They definitely pulled
Um,
that off really well.
so well. All the actors did great. All the characters were really well developed despite having no time to develop them. Like we all know other real life people of who they should have been. The theme song was basically like a backwards Johnny Carson theme song.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, they
Uh-huh.
literally took theme songs you've heard and instead of just changing a note or two, kind of played them backwards and added like this small little do thing.
Hmm.
Um, the pacing was good. A lot of people said it was boring, but honestly, like I don't think it could have moved faster or it wouldn't have
And
had the feel of
it
a
was
talk
fucking
show.
flying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the reviews I read saying it was slow. I'm like, it's an hour and a half and it's about a talk show. Like you couldn't just come out fucking
Right.
swinging. Like
I
I
thought it
think,
came out swinging and then settled in nicely and then ended swinging. Pace was
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And
Pace was on.
like I said, there was no time to really develop the characters other than a talk show intro to them. So like I think they did a great job. The ending, the wife thing, but I mean, I think it deserves this because I want to see more films do this. I would like to see more films with this kind of style and restraint. And I do think there was a lot of restraint despite the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
like
Yeah. They could have
I
totally.
like when the end blows up a little bit. Like I like a climax.
Right.
And sometimes movies now don't have that because they just like there's gore and shit happening everywhere, and then all of a sudden it gets emotional at the end, and you're like, wait, I wanted like craziness coming out of
Definitely.
the movie. But um, so yeah, I'm gonna give it that
All right.
with aspirations of better things to come
I like that.
in a
I
way.
like that
I
optimism.
may have I may
Good
have
deal.
overrated it, but like
It-
I hope all the horror directors and writers listen to our podcast and hear this and start
it's
upping their game a little bit.
yeah, I go back and forth with the rating, but I'll let Mad Mike go first.
You're gonna go
Uh
2.25.
No.
I
Oh, lower. Wow.
No.
for all the same reasons obviously that Oubliette was saying, like I went in for a certain movie and I feel like I got that movie. I wasn't disappointed at all.
Yeah.
I lived up to my expectations. Um, I kind of, I kind of, you know, I don't know how I would change the ending. Honestly, like we talk about the ending a lot. Like I don't know what I would do. It kind of, like you said, it kind of needs to blow up. So with that, and I actually want to rewatch it one more time. I saw it in a theater, and I really think this movie might play out better on TV. And the other
You're
night when I
Way
came
better,
home,
you're right.
I think.
You're right.
yeah,
I saw
you saw it in the theater or at home, or you saw both.
I saw both. I
And
rewatched
which
it
one did you
again.
see first? You rewatched at home,
Yeah,
and what did you think?
I agreed.
Did do you?
As soon as you
But
said that,
did you see it? But did I need to find somebody who saw it at home first, and that's not going to happen. No one's going to see it at home and then go to the movies to see it.
yeah,
So it's like I
I'm glad I didn't see it in the movies, thanks to
yeah,
you.
yeah.
And I put on like a very dim filter on my TV to mute the colors even more. And it
Hmm.
was,
So like, yeah, if I was at home in the dark on my couch watching this, I think I would have got wrapped up in it even more. So that's going to give it some extra points for me. Plus, I somewhat agree and disagree. I will never watch this movie again, except for one more time. I want to watch it at home so I can see it on the TV.
Uh-huh.
However, since it takes place on Halloween, this is a great movie to have playing in the background at your house
It's a
if you're
good
having
point.
like a Halloween get together
oh,
or giving
totally
or giving out candy because you
Yep,
don't really need to pay attention to it. And there's
agree.
enough weird, awkward things going on where like you could totally like be watching it and give out candy and come back to it and like watch and be like, what the fuck's going on? Or you can be on your phone texting and watching it after you've seen it or something, whatever. Like you can be doing other Halloween things. You can carve a pumpkin and enjoy this movie.
absolutely.
So, um, so I will give it a
I
three
agree with
point
that.
3.15 candy
Okay.
corns. It was going to get a 3, but I think the funness of watching it
One
on
five.
TV.
We're not doing quarters now. We're going to 1.5.
No, 3.25 is too much.
Right.
It's too
Okay.
much. But this is your guys' fault. You've broken me down. But I really liked it, and I don't really know how I could have made it better. So,
Right.
but I just that yeah,
Yeah.
that's my review.
I, I
That's what I say here.
I agree. Now, for all the reasons we just talked about and rated it for, I completely agree with. And when you told me after you saw it, because I had just seen it, you said, I think it would have been or a better watch on a TV as if you're watching a TV show. I said, absolutely, 100%. And I waited for it to come on Shutter, and I was like, all right, well, I want to test this theory. And I watched it, and I agreed. Like, it doesn't make it a better or worse movie, but the feel is better. Like, for me, it wasn't a long movie, but it was a little too long for what it was and how it was. Because to me, it just seemed like a really long, really good Creep Show episode, like the TV show Creep Show.
Yeah,
I
Mhm.
was like, dude, this
Oh
would have
yeah.
totally.
been a perfect episode for that. And so for that, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish it was one of those episodes, but I do love it. I love the aesthetic, I love the acting. I even love the premise, even the weird, crazy end. It works. It's not ending I preferred. Like I said, I would have
Don't
rather.
make me give it the highest score. I fell asleep during it the first time.
You're getting the highest score. But for those reasons,
God
like,
damn it.
yeah, uh if it would have stuck with the possession angle, and it could have even gotten a little weird at the end, but just mostly stuck with the climax being shit just getting crazy in the studio and whatever. I would have liked it more because I was fully invested in that
You're right.
theme.
I mean, was what was sold to us in the trailers. Like
Right.
and what the movie's about. Like I was expecting the devil to come.
Right, right,
So,
right. And I was just I was there. I was in it. I was locked in. And then
but
when
it's
it,
more like Late Night with the guy who sold his soul to the devil, featuring
right. And then it gets
Possession.
weird. I'm just like, oh. like I got blue balled. I'm like, you son of a bitch. So if it was maybe a little bit shorter and had that, I'd have given it a 3. But this is a weird movie because it's like I'm will probably buy it just to own it because of the aesthetic and the
You're gonna
acting
get it
is so good.
on VHS.
Yeah. And get my big ass fucking giant 400-pound TV. Um, but like it's not going to be a movie like I rewatch a lot. But again, it's a good party movie. Or if you put it on for Halloween or it's just you're around doing things for Halloween, like it's a good movie. So that being said, it's getting 2.75 candy corns from me.
That's
It
pretty
could
You
high.
guys are assholes.
but it could have been 3, so I could have been
Fuck you
up there with
guys.
you. Ooh,
Fuck
yeah, I could have
you.
been there. But like I said, it was just too long, and the ending just blue balled me so much that I was like, "You fuck." But this is one of those under 3 candy corns that I will still buy because it was done so well. Um, but that
I
that
would never buy
average,
it.
that average is a 3.1. Groovy 70s
Mhm.
devilly
That's pretty good.
satanic candy corns is good. I think everyone should watch it. There's a lot
It's
of
pretty.
people. It's one of the movies that I see this online that people are just like sucking its dick. It's the best, but it's so fucking good. I love it. I'm like, whoa,
Oh
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa, whoa.
it's so divided. No, there's people
Well,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
horror pages, they're like, this is the dumpster fire. And
Right.
immediately, like the first comment will be condescending, being like, well, you can't expect everyone to like every movie you like,
Uh-huh.
can you? So
Right.
maybe just give
Uh,
your opinion and shut up. And
Dude.
they're like, that's what I did. I just gave my opinion. It's the dumpster fire. And then
oh
they're like, okay, but I
no.
guess you just don't like cinema. And
Right,
I'm
right.
like, this is
Oh
great.
God.
Horror fans are so fucking toxic, especially the ones in the Joe
Nah.
Bob groups. Oh my
There's
Oh,
God.
dude,
there.
Dude, they're
No.
it's
insane.
It's
just,
worse. Pro
They're
wrestling fans are
insane.
way worse.
Dude, it's the same
oh
people.
yeah,
It's the
oh
same people at
Nah,
totally.
this
nah.
It's
point.
same thing. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Nobody hates pro wrestling more than pro wrestling fans.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's these Joe Bob fans are either complaining about, I told you guys, complaining about him or fucking Darcy or
Well,
the show.
many of Joe Bob's fans are like Darcy stans who I don't even think like horror,
Right.
who go nuts.
There's
And
that
then
too.
the other ones are like, and then there's many that are women haters
Totally.
and hate she's part of the show
Right.
and
Yeah.
love horror and
It's
torture
crazy.
porn.
Right.
And then there's regular horror people.
There's like the people
And
that
then
are in the
there's just
middle
weirdos. Yeah.
that are just like, well,
Yeah.
it was all right. And everyone's like,
What the fuck's going
whatever,
on?
you misogynists. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
well, anyway, but yeah, it's super divided. It's either they're sucking its dick or they're like, it's the worst movie ever, which
I,
neither are true. It's not the best movie that's ever been made, but it's by far not the fucking worst.
you guys got to come over to my group because the horror nerd group that I'm in, it's all love in my group. I have not seen one bad thing about this movie.
Yeah, there's been
Oh wow.
people that either love
And
it
these
or
are like
absolutely
people who are
hate
like
it.
art house people and also like people who like just like schlock. So
Right. Yeah. So I mean it's a good movie. Like I don't think anyone would be
where
or should
is
be
it sitting
upset.
on top is it sitting on top of your list of the year so far? I think it is.
Uh yeah. Well, we haven't talked about Godzilla and Kong yet,
Oh.
but no, I mean, well,
There's no way that Godzilla X Kong is better than this movie.
we'll discuss it.
No. There's no
Abigail's
discussing.
at the top of my list.
Yeah. Well, we have to
Lisa
we'll
Frankenstein's on
discuss
top
it.
of mine.
Um well, the top is still uh Godzilla -1, although I guess that's
No, that's
technically
last year,
yeah.
baby.
That's
Yeah, it's
last
tech
year.
yeah.
Last year, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Nope.
I guess
Nope.
technically it is. Damn it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
last year. What about Dune? No, that doesn't count. It's not a horror movie. But for horror
it's
movies,
it's a sci-fi. There's monsters
well,
in it.
Lisa Frankenstein
It's
and
sci-fi.
Saltburn are up there.
Yeah, I
Im-
mean,
Immaculate.
Saltburn.
Immaculate's pretty good too.
hmm,
Did
I
you
don't
see it
Is
yet?
it?
I haven't seen it
It was not
No,
what
but
I
I haven't heard
expected.
anything good about it.
yet.
It wa- it
Well,
it's
Sydney
because
Sweeney produced it, right?
she produced
I
it,
mean, she's
and
in it and she produced it.
she is I know everybody loves her, and she's like definitely like growing her acting chops, and she does some grade A horror screaming in this movie.
That's
Um,
good.
Hmm.
uh, it, I will say this movie, it didn't go where I thought it was
I'll
going to
be the
go.
judge of that.
Immaculate didn't go where I thought it was going to go. It was way better than I expected. I went in with very low expectations. The only expectation high I had was that I like Sydney Sweeney, so I was like, "Oh, this might be good because I kind of like her. I think she's pretty good." So that helped it, and that it takes place in Italy. So I was like,
Interesting.
"This will be worth seeing."
Yeah, we'll see. I think Late Night with the Devil so far, because I mean I haven't seen Abigail yet or a bunch of other ones. The only ones I've seen for this year really have been this and Godzilla Kong, which is just a monster movie. So um I don't know. I think we all agree people should see this at least once. But I do
Oh,
agree that I
definitely,
mean I love going to the movies anyway, so I'll see any
Watch it
totally,
on
uh,
TV.
but watch it on TV.
especially if you got Shutter. Why not?
Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
said, dude, fucking turn the lights off, give like a
Yeah,
creepy atmosphere and watch it. It
my,
plays way
Hmm.
better.
I went to the Beast Theater, like the third, fourth theater that I go to, and it
Right.
was still pretty full. Like there were a lot of people there
Yeah.
for Late Night with the Devil, and that was before it went out on Shutter. So like it was it
Oh,
was pretty full with all different types of people. It wasn't just like horror people, and
Right.
everybody seemed pretty into it. Like at the end, you have that weird bathroom talk. If you're like, someone's like, "What'd you think?" There's
Right.
always that one guy.
Yeah.
There's always that one guy who needs to ask you your opinion while you're peeing.
Like,
It's like,
dude,
"So
shut
what
the
you
fuck
think?"
up.
by the
Get away from
way,
me.
only guys do that. That has never happened to
I'm
me in a
sure. I'm
movie
sure. I'm sure it
Yeah.
hasn't.
after a
Yeah.
movie with
It's
women.
it's weird.
They're like,
We
I've
"So
just
what you?"
never
glare at each other.
yeah. I've
They're
never
like, "So
had
what
the
you think?"
urge. Yeah.
I was just like, it's what I expected. It was very good. I was like, "Yes, yeah, it's real good, real good." I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool, man.
All right,
Good
stop
pissing.
talking to me, dude. Um, but I still haven't seen Arcadian yet, and that looks real good. So
Uh,
and it's a cage
Me
movie,
yeah,
neither,
so
and it's not in
I,
my theater anymore.
it's not
yeah,
playing anywhere near me.
it's so fucking weird. Like I told you guys, it's the one theater it is like the ghetto, and I'm like, I don't want my fucking window smashed. So
I saw not
not
even a
fun.
review. I saw a comment about the movie, and now I don't want to see it.
Right. Well, it's another Shutter,
Quiet
Yeah,
Cage.
I
yeah,
read a
thing.
review
So
that turned me off about it.
I didn't
Oh, it
even
will
read a
be on
review.
Shutter? Then I'll wait.
Oh,
yeah, I
it's gonna
mean,
be a
yeah,
Shutter. I'll wait.
it's an IFC Shutter gimmick too. So
Nah, the only
Okay,
thing I
then
heard
I'll
was
wait because
Quiet
I
Cage.
read a really bad review. Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
mean it
no, it's not. Yeah, Cage is like an afterthought, but
right.
I read a review that dug pretty deep in and gave me a tip off that I may not like it.
You know what movie I heard though from my buddy who's a big horror fucking psycho? He said he saw this movie today called The Beast. That's the best movie he's seen all year.
Huh.
It
Well,
sounds fucking crazy. I'll send you guys off air.
all right, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Tell our friend to put it on
Oh yeah.
Plex.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell them
Oh, wait. Yeah, this came out last year. Yep.
what the
Oh,
beast.
The Beast.
I think this is
It's
on
in theaters
streaming, isn't
now.
it?
It's in theaters right now.
Oh,
Hmm.
actually, it's playing right next to my house.
That's crazy
Hmm.
because it's only playing in New York City by me and like Long Island.
Oh, it's playing it. Well, lots of artistic people in my area. Lots of
Autistic
art
people?
house cinemas. Artistic.
It sounded
Artistic.
like you said
Artistic.
autistic.
Could be autistic as well.
It's
Maybe
Autistic
maybe I
Awareness
did.
Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's playing in Rhinebeck right over the bridge.
Huh.
Nice. Oh God,
And actually, no, it's playing in all of them.
dude,
Yeah,
Arcadian is
there's like
playing nowhere.
three.
Yeah.
Well, no, The Beast is playing in three theaters within 15 minutes of me.
That's hilarious. Playing nowhere by me,
Oob's got all
dude.
It's what
the
happens when
movies.
you live in it's what happens when you live in a town with Kate from the B-52s, Amanda Palmer from Dresden Dolls,
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
all yeah. Yeah.
You
I'll
get the
just stop
entertainment.
there. Many others.
Right.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
all right.
Yep.
Anyone got anything else to say before we get the fuck out of
Um,
here?
when is Sting coming out? I thought it was
Dude,
out already.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was supposed to come out on Shutter. Dude, I don't know.
Who?
Sting.
Sting,
What movie?
Spider
It's like the
movie.
Spider movie. The first Spider movie of the year.
Oh, the new Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah, I
April
thought it was
12th.
out.
It says April 12th. It's not
Right.
playing anywhere.
Yeah,
That's a
I
lie.
haven't seen it.
It's playing in New York City. It's like
Of
New York
course.
City.
Of
Why? Oh, that
course.
means it's got to be leaking soon somewhere.
Yeah. Get it on that free.
Uh,
On that
I
free,
like going to
free.
the
yeah,
movies though.
So
nowhere.
do I, but it
Yeah,
just
New York
sucks.
City is the closest place to me playing it.
Jesus
That's
Yeah.
Christ.
insane. AMC Empire 25. You want to meet me there? that's, where it's, that's where it's playing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
no, that's the closest one.
That
that's
sucks.
crazy. That's still 30 minutes from me. It's not even near here. I live so many theaters by me.
Yeah. Yeah, it
What the
sucks.
fuck? Isn't that a wide release movie? Guess not.
Dude, movie theaters are so weird now with the
It's weird though.
releases
That
they
movie
do.
was
Oh
getting
my
talked about by a
God.
lot of people.
Do you know what the main protagonist's name is?
Instinct,
Charlotte.
Sh- God damn it.
amazing.
Charlotte.
R.I.P.
Like
Charlotte.
Charlotte's fucking Web.
Yeah,
Come on.
Charlotte's Web. Yeah.
Well, the one thing I know
Come
about Sting is
on.
that the spider arrives on a meteorite. Did you know that? That's how it gets
Yeah.
to
No.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
once
is
I heard
cool.
that, I was like, I'm so in on this
Yeah.
movie.
I just hope because I saw at least one
Hmm.
part of the trailer where the CGI looks bad. It's like the
Oh,
bigger the
really?
spider gets, it gets
Oh, I
bad
heard the
looking.
practical effects in this. I heard this movie is gross. I heard it actually gets pretty
Well, good.
gross.
I mean, it
Yeah.
it can't be perfect. So
Well,
maybe
yeah,
that
it
was just a
says
bad.
the spiders are flesh-eating spiders
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
or flesh-eating
No,
bacteria
it's one
spiders. Yeah, it's
spider.
gonna be
One
gross.
spider. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see. We'll try and
Just
find it.
one?
It's just one spider that just keeps growing and
Yeah.
growing and growing. It's kind of like the Seymour. Feed
Yeah.
me, Seymour.
Or the spider.
Audrey 2. Yeah, it's like Audrey 2
Earth
of
versus the
spiders.
spider.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody
Hmm.
for tuning in. Thanks again for fucking
Suddenly
Mike Terry
Seymour
for coming
Oh
on again,
man.
buddy.
is standing
Yeah.
beside you.
Woo-hoo.
Don't have no reason.
When you get top billing.
when do I
Sorry.
get patched in?
Yeah, I mean
Do
it's
I gotta get
you're
a
there.
vest?
Yeah. You get a brand. We get a fucking right on your butt
No,
cheek.
we'll get
T
Dom to draw a shirt with all of our faces with the Monster Candy
Oh,
logo,
that's
and then
There
cute.
you
it's
go.
done.
Yeah.
If he does, I'm very hairy, so I can be the wolf man if we're doing Universal Monster versions of
Ooh.
ourselves.
There we go.
Oh, we should do that.
Be
Oh,
good.
but wait, if you're the wolf man, he's Chops. Like, who's he gonna
That's
be?
true.
Yeah. Maybe
I,
Frankenstein or somebody.
I
A
could be Dracula,
monster.
Frankenstein. It don't matter. There's lots of monsters to choose from.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I wanted to be Dracula.
Or yeah, you could we'll figure it out.
You didn't
But I
even
mean
ask me.
it's monster candy, so you could be Godzilla, Oobzilla. I'll be King Kong. Terry could be Son of Kong because he's
Thanks.
cute. He's cute and jovial and laughs a lot.
Maybe I want to be
He
Mothra,
could be the
okay?
Ginger Kong.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I want to be Mothra, okay? I want to be the female butterfly of the group.
Hey, it's 2024.
I mean, that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're open-minded here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are open-minded.
Yeah, don't species shame me.
Cool. Well, tune in next time and turn in next time for Monster Candy Podcast. And we'll see you later, you little dickholes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
dickweeds.
Awesome.
Rad. Yeah, this will be up Thursday. So
Cool.
yeah, buddy.
Cool. So I watched the great movie of The Serpent and the Rainbow. I
Good.
watched it.
Good. I'm excited
It's
to
a
do this.
classic.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
I feel like I seen it after I watched it.
Probably.
I was like, I had definitely seen this somewhere before.
Dude, it used to be on TV all the time on those like Sunday movies
All
or
the
Monday,
time.
third, all the time.
Yeah,
So
it definitely gave me this like old vibe of like, afternoon movie like
yeah.
vibe.
In fact, I'm almost positive that it was featured in like the commercials, like the standard commercial for Thursday night movies or like whatever
Got it.
whatever
Yeah.
movie. I'm pretty sure a scene from
Oh
that
yeah.
was in that commercial. So I'm like,
I definitely remember the cover art from like the video store
oh
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, well, if you had a mom that had you at 19 and had no friends because your dad moved her across the country, you would have seen it in the movie theater when you were six
Oh
years old, and it would
no.
have traumatized you a little bit. Oh yeah, my mom
No.
totally took me to go see that. Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. It was
Damn,
like
you
the
saw that
summer
in
of
the theater?
'88, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, at
Fuck.
like 6.5. Mm-hmm.
That's scary. That's a scary
88,
And
movie.
rem
88.
and
Terry was like
well,
two.
and not only
I was
that,
too. I was
Yeah.
exactly
remember
too.
that Rem- not only that, I spent every summer in Pensacola, but we spent 3 weeks in New Orleans. So I saw it at the beginning of summer when I was 6, and then we proceeded to go to New Orleans for 2 weeks,
Oh no, no,
and
no,
then to
no, no, no,
Pensacola.
no.
And my mom always took us to like the Voodoo Museum, and she like was buddies with Chicken Man, and always like got our palms read. So like imagine being like that age and then
Right.
going to New
See ya.
Orleans, and my mom
Oh
being
no.
like, "Let's go to the voodoo shop and everything else," and I'm like, "Code red,
Yeah.
no,
Don't you remember the movie?
we're
Hey,
gonna die."
someone's just gonna come up to you and go in
Yeah,
your face.
blow
Yeah,
dust in your face.
yeah.
You don't want that.
So,
Yeah.
so Terry, you know it's a true story, right?
Yeah, yeah, I did all the research about it. I think that's why I knew
Okay,
about it
okay,
already.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that it was. I
Yeah,
remember the book. When they said it was based off the guy, the author's name, I totally knew. And I remember hearing all about the lore
yeah.
about this movie and how they made it. And I remember they had to leave and go finish filming it
Hmm.
like somewhere else. I definitely had watched like a documentary about the making of this movie at some point, and maybe that's as much of
Well, it
it
was
as I
on
knew.
Shutter Cursed Films, I think. Had
That's
an
probably why I
Yeah.
definitely
yeah.
watched that. I watch any documentary on
Yeah.
anything,
Oh
so that's
yeah, all
probably
the
I definitely
backstory on that was crazy.
Hmm.
yes, that's probably why that's probably why I thought maybe I've seen it then. Probably because I definitely watched the Curse film series because I
Yeah.
watched The Crow was on there, all the
Yep.
shit was on there.
Yeah. Cool.
Fucking yeah, cool.
So more fucked up, the last 5 years, people have been getting buried alive again.
Oh yeah.
A
Really?
lot of it has to do with the cartels, but they're using that powder on them.
Fun.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
And
I had
there's
asked
like
my,
there's a big resurgence and like a tourist warning and all this stuff to the islands that it's come back out, which is fucking terrifying.
great. Well, now that we're gonna talk about the movie
Oh.
and it's coming out back out, you know they're gonna remake The Serpent and the Rainbow next
I
year
think
now.
they were supposed to though. I think that was
Hmm.
the plans a while ago to remake it.
Yeah, it was
I
like
think we
Yeah,
four
might
or
have
five
talked
years
about it.
ago. It
Yeah.
was actually it's right when we start I when you
Yeah.
first invited me on. So
Because
maybe
you were
like three
like,
years
what the
ago.
fuck? Why
dude,
don't?
I
That's a
was like,
fucking
don't do
classic.
that.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman is the
Well,
fucking
and
man.
and they would never get all those ritual scenes and everything else right. Like the people, well, a lot of the people who were in it were actually like
Right.
in that religion and like everything
Yeah,
about it. They couldn't do that. They couldn't do it now.
Right.
no,
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
no.
the same.
Definitely won't be.
It's
Cool.
just it's
Yeah.
crazy. The only other movie that reminded me of was if you hear stories from Eli Roth about how they when they shot Green Inferno,
Hmm.
the making
Hmm.
of Green Inferno sounds
Hmm.
like such a better movie than the actual movie was. Where they had to
Then
like
Yeah.
Green
go.
Inferno, totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like he did. I
Yeah.
heard him doing this interview. He did like a 2 hour interview on like Chris Jericho's podcast talking about the making of Green Inferno. I was like, that's the movie I want to see. That sounds crazy. The
Yeah.
movie
Right.
itself
Right.
is whatever. Same thing with Cannibal
Cannibal
Holocaust. Like
Holocaust. Yeah. Well,
it
Green
sounds like the making
Yeah.
of
Inferno
that movie was better,
just
you know?
ended up being like the
Yeah.
poor man's Cannibal
Sure.
Holocaust. I'm like,
I mean, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was like,
And who the fuck would get cannibals stoned so they could escape?
dude, I don't know. I saw that
When I
Stupid
was
movie.
college
watching Green
kids.
Inferno, I'm like, these people, why would they get cannibals high? They're just gonna get hungry. They're gonna get hungry.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get tired. They're gonna get hungry. Like,
Well,
fuck.
Oh,
They
then
do
yeah,
worse drugs than you. What the fuck?
yeah, that movie.
Stupidity.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't good.
It
Yeah.
was fine. It was
Yeah.
funny.
I saw it on tour. We were in like Jackson,
But
Mississippi.
Thanksgiving too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm
Cool.
ready.
Cool. All right,
All right, gang.
dudes. I'll see you
All
later.
right.
All right.
Good
Love
night,
y'all.
guys.
Good
Ah.
night.